Welcome, everyone, to the currently unnamed podcast that is the continuation of the Strike Force Damage Control and the Power Core podcast. We'll talk very shortly about what's going to be evolving with that name. I am one of your hosts, Chewburger84. You're probably wondering why you're not hearing the dulcet tones of Dorian Blade right now, and that's because we are going to be rotating hosts over the next few weeks. So let me take the pleasure of introducing my two co-hosts. So first of all, Mr. Dorian Blade, welcome aboard, buddy.
Hey, buddy. How you doing tonight?
I am sensational. I'm about as scatterbrained as you're going to get with the mind dump of news we just got, but I'm pumped about this show, my friend. How about you?
Oh, you know it.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. And that leads us to introduce the Hebrew Hammer. How are you, mate?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, buddy?
Not too bad. Do you like this slightly Arnold inflection I've introduced for your intro?
I feel like it doesn't lend itself to Hebrew Hammer at all, but it is totally fine with it. You got to find yourself like some Jewish quote or something like that we can throw in for me.
All right. I'll spend a week researching different Jewish phrases, and then we'll regroup for next week. All right?
There we go.
Sounds very good. So first things first, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a lot of things happening with the show this week and in the next couple of weeks that are very exciting. So make sure you stay tuned to the Discord and Twitter channels that are currently out there for Strike Force Damage Control and Power Core, because there's going to be a lot of exciting things happening in the very near future. So first of all, we need to thank those people that have stuck with us from the transition. So Dorian, can you do our shout out to our special patrons, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to thank all of you for staying with us and joining us through this merge time. So before we start, I did want to mention I missed somebody last week, and I want to apologize to Randy Marsh. He was supposed to get a shout out last week, and I completely forgot. So Randy, thank you for being a patron for us. I also want to thank Crypto Knight, Lunchbox 007, Assassin Avenue, Magic Wand, Evan B, Urbane Raven, Kane76, Fat Honey Badger, Snuggles, and Bruce. So thank you guys for your continued support. I really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
That's fantastic. And Dorian, can you tell the guys, for other people who want to be a part and support the show, obviously we're adding in some new benefits over the next couple of weeks. So where can they find the Patreon page for this show?
Sure. So they can find it at patreon.com/SFDC podcast. That link will stay available until we get a new show name, in which time that will be changing, but we will not change it until we announce it. So again, that's https patreon.com/SFDC podcast.
Awesome. That's great. So yeah, head over to that site. We obviously love talking to all the people in our community, and we'd love you to be a bigger part of that as well. So Hebrew, what have you been up to this week, my friend?
Not too much. We've actually been having some crazy storms over here, so just trying to ride it all out. Other than that, just got classes and work. And then, of course, doing this merger, which has been, as all of us know, chaos. So
absolutely. And just to clarify, because you're in America, did you say storm or stormy? It's tough with the news at the moment to identify between the two.
Oh,
we're not going to go.
That's old news. That's exactly. Old news.
It's it's very stormy, but the cause might be because of storm. Who knows?
Hey, who knows?
There you go.
Well, stay safe, mate. And what about you, Dorian? What have you been up to, mate?
Wow, it's just been a crazy week at work. I have been, just trying to handle a lot of things, getting the house in order. My wife and boys are going out of town tomorrow, so it's just going to be me and my daughter here at the house. So trying to think of what we're going to do together tomorrow, and what to do for this weekend. And obviously all the craziness we've been going through trying to get this show put together.
Yeah, it's been a lot of effort. So have you got a short list of what you and your daughter are going to get up to? You're going to watch a movie, or
a little far away from Disneyland, but may run up to Clarksville, and I need to get some new inserts for my cowboy boots, because I'm a heavy walker, and I wear inserts like under the pad of my big toe. It like eats through and wears out really quickly. So I need to get new inserts, because I can't wear my cowboy boots right now, and that is not enjoyable for me. I don't like my tennis shoes.
You wear cowboy boots?
Oh, heck yeah, I do.
Yeah, we're not just going to skip straight over that. There's a disguise. Sorry, guys, we're going to have to delay the next show for about 5 minutes while we address this. I want a screenshot of this in Discord in the next 10 minutes.
I really want to see that for some reason.
Wait, you want to see me wearing the cowboy boots, or you want to see the cowboy boots?
I want to see you wearing the cowboy boots, and I want to see you in like a pink cowboy hat or something. That's what I imagine.
So I'm currently wearing shorts, so that's not going to work. And the cowboy boots are in the room with where my wife is sleeping. She's leaving at 4 a.m. So no, that's not happening.
We'll save this for another day because I need to see this in real life.
Yeah,
but I'll get you guys, if you guys want, I'll get you some good pictures. I've got some of me doing like wrestling pose. No, they're all clean. You know me. Like I've got okay, quick sidebar. Sorry guys.
Yeah.
I used to work on an online baseball simulation game, right?
Okay.
And I was in one of the leagues for this game. And one of the guys in the league paid to get, so it's like fake fantasy baseball. It's probably the easiest way to say it. And so one of the guys in the league went out and paid a lot of money for this championship belt. And it's like a heavyweight WWE wrestling belt. So I won a season and I got the belt. So there's pictures of me wearing the belt. There's pictures of me doing like Rock poses and Hulk Hogan poses with the belt. There's pictures of me. I actually gave a presentation at work while wearing the belt. So yeah, I love that belt.
Please tell me there's a video of that.
No, there's no video of that. I do have pictures of me at work with it, but
tell me that you were doing like that whole thing in like a Hulk Hogan voice or something like that, where you were just doing the presentation like, "What you gonna do, brother?"
That would have been amazing, but no, I did not, because I don't know how well that would have played at work. So
you were already halfway there. Oh, you got
right.
Well, I was kind of halfway there, but
yeah. As much as I want to spend the next hour talking about this, and trust me, I really, really do. We have so much to get through this week, guys. So we're going to move on. We'll breeze right through what I've been up to this week, because it has been all podcast, working on obviously this one, designing some things for a brand new series that I'm going to be running, which is a bit of a gaming lifestyle. So basically, it's kind of a gaming lifestyle. I'm going to lose a bunch of weight real soon. And for other people that want to do the same, that's kind of what I've been spending some time on and recording. So let's breeze through that and let's skip to the Marvel Strike Force items. So after all, this is a podcast that is supposed to be about Marvel Strike Force, a game available for iOS and also available on Google Play. So game-wise, do we have any big wins this week, starting with you, Dorian?
Yeah, I got Rocket to gear level 10. That was a ABC and tech molecule nightmare. Those tech guys are not fun to gear up.
Oh god,
yeah. Was it the purple ball?
Yeah, it was the purple ones. I mean, it was brutal, and he's sitting at 0.
Better than the blue ones, that's for sure.
No, yeah, this is very well. I don't know. Purple could be a heck of a lot worse. Heck of yeah.
I'll see if anyone else picks that up after.
Oh, there goes Big V.
I made literally the same joke last week. Yeah, that's good.
You did?
Yeah, he did. I'm a little disappointed. But I was sitting at like 750 gold yesterday, and then I bought like 30 ABCs. So I'm down to like 200K right now.
No.
Yeah.
But my arena, I have not actually been doing very well in arena, so I'm a little disappointed with that, because I'm running kind of a hybrid tech team. So I'm running Star-Lord, Rocket, Thanos, Vision, and Iron Man, and it's just not holding very well. I'm falling to like 1,000.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good team in concept, though. There's not much wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on.
Okay. Oh well, hopefully it turns around.
So what are you at? What are you at right now?
Right now, I want to say I just did a fight shortly before the show. So give me 1 second while I open this up here. And I want to say I am sitting around arena 958.
958.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I forgot you're lumped in with that beta shard.
Yes.
Ooh. Oh,
yeah, that's gonna be rough. That is gonna be rough. Was there anything else that you unlocked or got this week, mate?
No. I think that's pretty much it. That's the highlight.
Yeah. All right. Well, mine was pretty brief. Mine was basically working on Shield. So I now have all 6 of the Shield Fury Minions team to T11 at 5 to 6 stars minimum, and I should have a few guys at 7 stars towards the end of the week. So I'm pushing hard on security right now, trying to get 7-star Iron Man. So we'll see how we go there. What about you, Hebrew? What have you been doing in game?
Oh gosh, there's so much. First of all, I've been really trying to, even though I ragged on her last week, and I maintain the things I said about Storm, but I am trying to push her up as fast as possible because I know that she is going to be key for beating Ultimus, and she's going to be really useful for beating Thanos as well. So I'm trying to lock her in a top spot. And once again, I also don't know if, with the mutant change, the mutant gear change, I don't know if that's going to screw me at all. So I'm just kind of trying to get there as fast as possible. I'm also saving up gold because we got that level change incoming at some point soon.
Yeah.
And so I have about only like 900K right now. So basically not enough. And let me see. That's pretty much it. Been actually working on my defenders team a little bit. Because I knew that basically what just happened today was going to happen. So yeah, they're all up to 5 stars. So that's pretty good. And they're all around like 13, 14K. So I'm not too bad on that. But that's pretty much it. Oh, and we also finally, for some reason, we have been 60%ing 60%ing Ultimus for an incredibly long time. But, well, not incredibly long, but like for 2 weeks now. But Thanos, for some reason, we could not 100%. We were getting, basically, we'd always have one person that didn't finish Thanos. Or one team, rather, that didn't finish Thanos. And finally today, for the first time, we completed it 100%. So
congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
Yep. So I'm pretty excited about that. And God, I don't want this to go on long, but what rank are you at right now? Actually, I'll figure this out afterwards. We have a big show. So yeah.
Are we doing another EPing contest for our alliances? Is that what we're doing?
That is exactly what we're doing right now.
All right, hang on. Let us unzip. 1 sec.
Yeah, here we go.
We are at 44.
Whip it at. Which one?
44.
44? Oh,
you're just in front of us, right?
No, not anymore. Wait, no.
Black Order?
No. Dead End.
Oh, who was Black Order I was talking about last week? Not you guys?
I don't know. I thought you said Dead End last week. All right, well, whatever. All right, anyways, I'm not close to you. I'm 113 right now.
Okay.
That's our alliance. So.
All right, just let me put this back away then. Okay.
You didn't even need it.
All right. Very good. All right. Well, a busy week as always. So let's tear into the news. We're going to have to do some of this rapid fire because so much has come out in the last 3 hours. It is actually not funny. So for those of you listening, wondering what's coming up, we're going to be briefly running through, well, not briefly, but the news is coming now. We're going to be going through the data mine, which has just been linked to us, as well as a quick update from the Marvel Players Organization. We're going to do a quick character spotlight. I'll let Dorian announce who that is very shortly. We're going to do our brand new segment, which is our Patreon sponsored segment. So each week, if you reach a certain tier within our patrons, we are going to be going through week by week and having a segment that we'll be doing chosen by those patrons. So keep an ear out for that. As always, we'll be finishing up going through the grab bag and listener questions. So if there are those of you listening live that want to have a question answered live on air, make sure to put that in the grab bag channel right now. And then, of course, we'll be going through who we are all farming. All right, guys, so we're going to break the news up into 2 sections. We're going to do a rapid fire for some of the, I guess, passive announcements. Right. And then we're going to spend quite a bit of time going through the big stuff. So first of all, Thanos has been extended for 1 additional week. Great news for Chewie, because that means that I will walk away with a 6-star Thanos. How about you guys?
I should be able to. If I get really, really, really lucky. I'm sitting at 115 at 200 right now.
Really? Oh, my God. Both of you. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, I think I need 40 maybe, and then I'm getting over the line. So, yeah, I'm nice and close. I'm only 3 or 4 raids away. We actually had one guy yesterday miss 1 node. I was furious. So, yeah, that guy's got a strike in our new system. Not cool. But, yeah, well, that'll be cool. We'll definitely have to compare Thanos. I think yours wins, though, Dorian.
Maybe. What's your power on your Thanos right now?
He is T11. I remember that much. He is T11, 27K.
Barely have you. My guy is T11, but he's 28.7K.
Yeah, because you went in with the T4 on him, right?
I did go in on a T4 on him, and that makes that rocket so much better.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, hashtag no regrets there, I'm sure.
No.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so going through the quick stuff, Scarlet Witch is now in Ultimus Orbs. Not that that's going to matter because you're just going to pull characters you already have at 7 stars anyway. Wasp has been transitioned into the supply store, basic and premium and mega orbs. Now, let's take a second to quickly talk about the fact that the Black Widow passive text has now been changed. Have you guys had a chance to read through this?
Yeah, it just now says plus 5% speed.
Yep.
Yeah, so the description that they have on the website that it's not necessarily plus 5% speed. The part that if you look a little bit further up, it's actually saying now that she gains that speed, but it's applied after a character has taken an action. Do you think that changes her much, or do you think it pretty much stays the same?
For me, I think that it changes her a decent bit because that was one of the benefits before, is that she could go before everyone else typically.
No, because even with
yeah.
that extra speed, she wasn't going before. I don't think she was going before Gamora. I mean, she's still at a 148 base speed, so
Yeah,
getting
there
that
was
plus 15%, she's still gonna go really fast.
Mhm.
Yeah, and she does, but I think that there's only a handful of people that beat her in speed overall still, like that go first.
Mm.
So I think before that, I mean, there's now going to be a few more people that do that, correct?
There's going to be a lot of characters that go first because of speed up on spawn. I think the question I
Yeah.
probably should have asked is, are you less or more likely to actually put into her level 5 passive now that it reads that way instead of just the raw 5 speed that it did previously?
I probably won't. Like, I'm probably less inclined to do so, just because I guess realistically, yeah, the way she is right now, it's fine. And there's so many other champions that are coming out that, especially with this update, that I'm going to be focusing on too. So it's definitely like it's good, but it's no longer as much of a priority for me anymore. It's probably the best way to put it.
What about you, Dorian?
I wasn't going to do it either way. I mean, look, even at 10%, she's already getting to 163 speed, right? So I'm just not that concerned about it. That extra 5% gives her a couple of extra points, but if it was to be applied around, sure, but just 5% on her, that orange ability mats for that's a lot. So
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be for me anyway. I hadn't planned on it, and this doesn't change anything for me.
Sure. No problems at all. Yeah, I mean, nothing really changes about her. It's just obviously understanding her kit better. For me, I think exactly the same as you guys. It just doesn't make her as attractive as it was previously.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about a mail that came through about a week ago now, before we get to the really hot news. That basically suggested that 3 new characters are going to be coming to the game. And over the last couple of hours, we actually do know who they're going to be now. So we'll come to that news very shortly. Obviously, the Dark Dimension and the level cap is one of the announcements that they have made. We knew about Dark Dimension, but they didn't necessarily hint to us previously that the level cap is coming with it. So, Dorian, if that came through in the next 2 weeks, what's your sort of farm strategy between now and then? Are you going to keep dumping into your team, or are you going to start saving some mats and gold?
I think I'm going to keep dumping into my team because ultimately it all comes down to efficiency. And for me, it's about being able to get as high as I can in arena to get more cores. And if I get more cores, I can buy more stuff. And if I can buy more stuff, I can get more cores. So it's kind of that revolving cycle. So right now, I'm doing really good. I'm pretty happy with where I'm going in raids. I'm not number 1, but I usually stay top 5 to top 10. And I'm pretty happy with that. Where I'm not happy is my arena team. And so that's where I want to kind of drop everything into it right now. Level 70 will be nice, but I'm not gonna hoard for what may or may not come in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. And what about you here, Brett?
I'm already doing a bit of hoarding for the gold, because depending on what happens I'm really interested in the Dark Dimension. So I want to see what I'm going to need to set me up best for success in that. And even if I can complete it, but I figure worst comes to worst, if I'm just like, oh, I'm never going to be able to beat this at all anytime soon, then I'll just go ahead and throw all of the stuff I saved into one of my main teams. But yeah, I'm already saving up gold for the level increase because it doesn't need to be too much gold in my opinion, because you are still going to have to increase your levels in order to upgrade them. So it's going to be a little bit of a slow burn, but it'll be nice to have that extra gold stocked up so I can level 5 or 6 of them every single time whenever I get my own level increased. So yeah, I'm hoarding a bit, and I think it's overall the best strategy. Way better than Dorian's.
Yeah, whatever.
Shots fired.
Everybody's allowed to be wrong. This is your time.
Yes, and I'm sure you're looking forward to a part very shortly where you can announce your victory on one particular subject, mate.
I'm going to take a victory lap. I'm going to take a victory lap.
Yeah, that is deliberately going last, so Haber and I can just log off, and you can just have an hour yourself.
I'll let you know when I'm done, so you can jump back in.
Yep. Exactly. So, Hebrew, I'm actually doing something very similar right now and trying to hoard gold. And I say trying to because I'm having a very weird week that I'm having a lot of characters come up to 7 stars. So every time I break over a mill, I have to then throw another 500k to get another shield guy up. Yeah. Night Nurse right now is literally at 299 of 300. So there's another 500k gold tomorrow, right? Because you can't not level her with how much is required for a raid. But the other reason I'm saving that gold, and that leads straight into the next part from that email, is the Alliance donations, which is going to be split between 2 sections, which is the Stark Tech and the Alliance levels. So, Dorian, first of all, obviously the details are relatively limited right now, but do you have any theories about what those 2 things are, Alliance levels, Stark Tech, and how much you think they will play into your strat?
Well, I can tell you one thing that I saw on Reddit this week was the devs did come out and say that Stark Tech was not mods. So awesome. Thank God for that. Because I'll be honest, 6-dot mods are making me want to quit Galaxy of Heroes. Splicing's horrible.
I quit exactly for that reason, bud. Yeah, it's another level of ridiculous.
I will say I did splice to a 6-dot mod on my Wampa today to get the +2 speed plus 100 offense. So anyway, I think the Stark Tech is going to be something that's going to allow. So I don't know if either of you play Disney Hero Battle Mode. I think Hebrew, you do.
I played a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so in the guilds, what you can do is you can actually increase certain aspects of what you can do, like mercenaries and things, by increasing the levels of your guild. This may be something very similar where as you increase your alliance levels, you get this Stark Tech that your guild leaders can kind of put towards increase, like it'll increase everybody's base damage by 2% or something. I don't think it'll be on a player-by-player basis. I really think it's going to be across the entire alliance.
Yep. That seems to be the way it goes.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm thinking that's going to be right now.
And what about you, Hebrew? Is your alliance talking about maybe starting to save a little bit of gold in case this is a thing that benefits the entire alliance?
So among the officers, we've talked about it, but we haven't told anyone in our alliance yet to start. So that's not really anything official yet. We've just kind of talked amongst ourselves like, hey, we should probably go ahead and start saving up for this just so we can at least get a head start. Luckily, we have some pretty big whales in our alliance. So I think worst comes to worst. Like, I'm never too worried about whenever it comes to our alliance that much, because if we really need something or something really cool comes out or something exclusive, I know they'll throw down for it, especially 2 of them. Like, they'll throw down as much money as is necessary for it. So yeah, I'm not too worried about that part as much, but whenever it comes to the Stark Tech upgrades, I'm curious to see more about what it is. I am relieved to hear that it's not mods. Granted, I didn't have the trouble with mods that you guys did in Star Wars because I never got to that same level that you guys did. I didn't get to real end game content, so to me it was just another thing to do, so I didn't mind it too much. But I understand now the issues that mods caused. And so I'm really relieved to hear that it's not the case with this game, and that they actually came out ahead and said they're not, don't worry. So yeah, I'm glad that that's not the case. As far as saving up for everything and alliance donations, yeah, I mean, I personally, part of that chunk that I'm saving up, if depending on the perks and everything that we'll get from it, then yeah, I'm going to be throwing down some, and a lot of my other officers are. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with it.
Awesome. Yeah, it seems like it's going to be one of those things that it's going to have to be passive boost, perhaps in PvE only content. Obviously, I think if they're smart, it's not going to end up in PvP. I don't think anyone's really worried about that. For those of you listening, the three of us have obviously always trying to get you any insights that we can into any updates coming. So we did have a small win this week, and it's the smallest piece of info, so don't get too excited. But we did find that part of the Stark tech is something called the Armory. So one of the good news for alliances that are hoarding gold right now is that it looks like it's going to be a daily contribution system, not a lump sum. So it might be something similar to tickets that if people donate a certain amount per day, that will basically do a staged unlock. The thing I like about that in concept, guys, and tell me if you agree or disagree, is it means that the whales just can't go right out and buy their way to a gigantic head start. What do you think about that, Dorian?
Yeah, I like that. While I understand that, you need your whales to kind of fund your game, you don't want to give them a huge unfair advantage. So, and because you're going to have these intermingled, where you're going to have these guilds that are really kind of all whales versus the intermingled and the guilds that are all free to play. If they were to allow you to just kind of pay to win or buy the higher levels, more quickly, you're just going to create a completely unfair playing ground.
Yeah, I think so too. Hebrew?
Yeah, for me, similar situation. I'm relieved to hear that. I think that's one of the big problems that we have in this game currently, is just that it's way too easy for people that are ahead to keep getting further and further ahead. So it is nice to hear that. Like, for instance, the officers that I mentioned in my alliance, like, they're way up there. They've been up there forever because they keep scoring incredibly well and everything, and they're getting exponential amounts of rewards, more than the rest of us. So great for us as an alliance because, I'm a part of it, but for everyone else that's outside of it, it sucks, and I sympathize with that. So yeah, I'm glad that it'll be more passive, a little more fair, and I'm curious to see exactly what it's all going to be about, the specifics of it.
Yeah, and let's hope we get some more announcements about what that will be before it actually drops. I mean, the way that Defenders drops today with the changes going live at the same time, obviously I doubt that's going to happen. So the last piece of news before we roll into some other topics. So there is going to be an addition of 3 new achievements in the game. We've talked before about how most of us feel that they're a bit of a nothing topic most of the time. They're kind of passive rewards. Hebrew, do you think we're going to start seeing something in there like spend 10,000 cores? Something like that is an achievement?
Core spending, it wouldn't surprise me if they did a core spending one, that's for sure. But I do hope and think that whatever they are, is that they're going to have a better rewards than what we currently have for achievements. Because as we've already talked about, and I'm not going to rant over it again this time, but in the podcast Assemble episode, I went off on those pretty hard, and I still think that they're just absolute garbage. So yeah, I'm hoping, and since they've been doing such a better job with rewards, I think it'll probably have something a little nicer for us. And so yeah, I'm glad they're going to do that. I'm not sure what it's going to be for exactly. It's probably going to have something to do with Dark Dimension, perhaps. And yeah, but my money's on that. Just things relating to new game modes, achievements correlating to those.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, we also have the announcement that Iron Man is coming back once more. Dorian, are you going to have a shot at trying to star him up any further?
I am one person away from getting him to 6-star, so I'm hoping that I might be able. So I can go off the Mordo farm for a little bit and farm Assault and try. I've got to do the math though. I don't think I can get him there in time.
Yep.
I don't remember exactly where he's at right now. So that's
as someone that's been playing with security a lot for the last couple of weeks, make that switch anyway. He is by far the most underrated tank in the game right now. In a Fury team, I would actually make an argument he is pretty close, if you took a tanking role, to the best tank in the game.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
He auto taunts, multiple times. He hits like an absolute truck. Like, you have no idea how hard he hits if he crits on both of his special hits. And he has a 70% block chance in a Fury team. So he takes almost no damage most of the time. He's a fantastic character under Fury. I cannot recommend him enough to you, mate. So if you're close...
Security is currently at 84 of 200. He might be a little out of reach.
Have you got much in the way of arena currency backed up?
I've only got like 1,500 right now. So that'll give me 15. And then I'm basically stuck to, 5 a day? Plus if
Just depends on
farm.
how hard you want to go, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I hope you get there, mate. I really do. But I'll tell you one thing that I definitely wouldn't do if I was you. So people who have heard me talk before may have mentioned an incident that I had with something we called the Kree orbs, which was basically a way that I misread that basically they were like orbs that I thought that you would buy and they would only have Kree in them. But unfortunately, they were premium orbs with an increased chance of getting Kree. Now, if you have a look in the store right now, there is shield orbs, which are exactly the same. Okay, they are orbs that do not guarantee you shield characters. They only have an increased chance of giving you shield characters.
I don't see those currently. I'm in the store right now. They're not there.
Oh, in that case, they'll be here shortly. So I'm actually reading directly from that email that was in game from about a week ago. So maybe they're not live yet. My apologies for that. But they are supposed to be here around the Iron Man event at the latest. So when they do come, it's your call. You do what you want to do with your money. But as someone that went down that road, if you just want to buy them for premium orbs, go nuts. I mean, I think I got Ant-Man to 6 stars as a result of Kree orbs. But if you are buying these for shield, guys, please know it's an increased chance of shield, not guaranteed. Yeah. Okay, I just want to get that out there to stop people from making a mistake that I did by being an idiot and not reading like a big boy. Okay. Very, very good. So I know we have a huge chunk of news we're going to talk about that it came with the Defenders update blog post. So because that's going to be probably the bulk section of the show, we're going to quickly change tracks across to the data mine and MPO update from our friend Panub, who most of you have probably seen very active on Reddit and also in Discords. So I'm just going to bring up, so as always with the data mines, guys, this is information that has been pulled out of the coding of the game. But you need to understand that this does not necessarily guarantee that these changes are going to be happening, okay? So first things first, before I talk about it, Dorian, how do you feel about skins in the game? Different skins?
Meh. I'm honestly not a... I would honestly rather see different characters than just skins for them. And that probably comes from just being such a long time Galaxy of Heroes player where we've got 5 Hans and soon to be 4 Chewies. So it's I don't care about skins. I know the superheroes went through alternative costumes throughout their lifetimes, and that's great. But they're also kind of different at that same time, So I'd almost rather see different characters entirely than just skins. And honestly, I'd rather see them put their development time into new things than the skins.
And what about you, Hebrew?
So for me on this, I do agree that there's still some foundation work that they need to finish up with the game before they really focus on skins. But I want skins. I love the concept of skins. I am a League of Legends player. So me liking skins, I love them and I want them to come and I'll drop money for them. I just hope that it's handled appropriately is my biggest thing. I want them to either be cosmetic, like purely cosmetic for a very reasonable cost. Maybe I don't know what would be good for that. 200 power cores or something, 200 and 300 power cores, maybe more. But something that we could part with from our free amount that we get every month. So I would want that. If they did go the route of adding stats to them, I wouldn't have a problem with it. If it basically, I would kind of just want a little bit of a rework to the character, honestly, like a full rework to the character. And but I would want to make sure that you can only pick, you can't walk onto a team with 2 Wolverines, for instance. I would want you to be able to pick basically. Why not? Because I just don't like that. I've never really liked that. Granted, in this game it worked. The concept works a little more on doubling up, but for me, I don't know. I don't like the concept of walking with two Wolverines or two of anyone on the same team.
But thematically it works in the game, though. I mean,
yeah, I said that. I agree.
Right,
with that.
I know.
But it's for me. It's it's subjective to me. But yeah, I personally I like being able to just have one Wolverine, and you can't have two. That's it. But I want the skins to be well done. I want them to have different animations, and I don't want them to be like game breaking or anything. Just like any character, really. So yeah, I just want them to do it and do it well, and also just please don't do whatever that Deadpool thing was, where they locked us into the skin and then they arbitrarily took it away later. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I hope that they don't do that.
Yeah, well, I will say the one thing. Yeah. I was gonna say, I will say the one thing that I'm not worried about is the animation. Because if that's one thing that this game has shown us since it launched, is that it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
100%. Well, the good news is, guys, not only can you take and evolve those opinions somewhere that matters, but everyone that is listening to this podcast can as well. So the Marvel Strike Force Players Organization is active not only on Discord, but also on Reddit. So they're normally one of the top pinned posts on Reddit. If you go over there right now, they are currently conducting a full survey of the complete player base, where they're gathering information about what players actually want from skins, and they will send that letter once they've compiled all the data directly to Fox Next. Now, we know that they are reading these, so if you do want your voice heard on the topic of skins, make sure you head over and check that out on Reddit or Discord right now. So then we also have the data mine. So one last piece of warning, I suppose, is that, again, this is all unconfirmed. But they've had a pretty good strike rate recently. So let's have a talk. So Mutant Gear looks like it may be coming to the game as of October 2nd. I know you were just talking about before, Hebrew. Yep. So you were asking about the gear. Okay. Yep. So the message that they pulled out of the data mine says for characters who currently have the mutant trait, those characters that currently have that trait will automatically have their equipped gear converted. We already knew that. Yeah. And no progress will be lost. However, gear that has not been completed or equipped will not be converted. Okay, so if you're halfway through a tier, it looks like they won't sort of penalize you from not finishing that tier and leave it the same until you've finished it. Coding wise, I don't even know how that works.
Well, yeah. They're gonna.
There you go.
Those. So let's say you're halfway through, right? And you've got all three on the right hand side. Yep. The three on the left hand side will switch to the mutant gear.
Oh, okay. That reads smarter for sure.
And so here's the slight problem with that. Is that you're not going to have the blue or green mutant gear. You're going to have to farm 100%. All that from scratch. That's the horrible thing about this.
Yeah. So this is the curious part about the next part of this thing here, Dorian, is that it actually says that 8 nodes are going to have their current purple gear materials replaced by purple mutant gear materials. Here are the affected nodes: Villain 6-8, Nexus 5-7, Nexus 7-4, Nexus 7-8, 7-9, Cosmic 1-7-2-4, and then Mystic 2-8. So it looks like, by reading that, and I hope this is true, maybe they aren't changing the green and blues. That would be awesome, actually, if it was only the purples.
Okay, let's go through those real quick. What were that? What was that again?
Villain 6-8.
Okay, hold on. I'm in game right now. So Villain 6-8. That is the advanced charge particles.
Okay. Nexus 5-7.
Nexus 5-7.
We won't do all of these for the interest of time, but yep.
Right. Nexus 5-7 is the advanced damage catalyst.
Okay, and then we'll make this one the last one. Have a look at Nexus 7-8.
Nexus 7-8 is that one I don't have locked. All right, that one is currently locked. I don't have that one yet.
Yeah. Was there something you were worried about that made you want to check that, or?
Well, yeah. I mean, so we've got some phosphates on Nexus. We've got some. Did you say was there anything in Cosmic or Mystic?
Yeah, Cosmic 1-7 and 2-4, and then Mystic was 2-8 only.
Yeah, now, so Mystic 2-8 is a laser torch.
Okay, yeah,
and that's kind of where I was worried. You said Cosmic 1-7.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a armor catalyst. That one's not too bad. But that laser torch is kind of a kick in the teeth.
So here's the interesting thing. So this looks like it's an in-game email that's going to come out. So the bottom of this, it says, to smooth the transition and to help get your mutant teams up to speed, here are some mutant gear materials. Gear up and join the fight. So it looks like they're going to give us a small handful of something as a way of maybe getting things started. So I'd be curious to see. What we just heard, obviously, briefly, for Dorian is a little bit concerned about it. What about you here, bro?
So first of all, I like the concept that they're going for with this. I like specific gear for factions. I think that's cool. It makes it a little difficult that they're implementing it now because we kind of figured that they were going to be taking something away from us. So that kind of sucks. But I was hoping that we were going to get, and I kind of knew it wasn't going to happen because there just isn't enough mutants. But I kind of thought we were maybe going to get a mutant campaign or something that would have just featured all mutant gear, but there just really isn't enough mutant characters right now to make it fair for everyone, I feel like. So but I think that, I was worried about that. That's why I leveled up all of the mutants into the purple gear, and a lot of them I think all of them are at least tier 9, some of them into tier 11. So I'm kind of set for that. I'm hoping that this free gear that they give out is more purple gear, and that they aren't going to do mutant specific gear for greens and blues. That would be just good for everyone. And also that would ensure that I would be getting purple gear for the mutants. But yeah, I think that it's good. This is kind of an inevitability that they're going to do stuff like this. So I don't mind them switching over just because they have to pull the trigger at some point. And it sounds like they're handling it as best as you can. But yeah, I hope that they are pulling one or two pretty limited resources away from some of those nodes. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that the transition has to happen, and I think that it's a good thing that it does, because I'm with you. I think that the mutants should have their own gear. And outside of Cable, all mine are tier 9, and Cable I think is tier 8. So, Evan, friend of the podcast, Evan in chat gives some really good advice. He says, save your Ultimus raid orbs.
Yeah,
I have not been, simply because I've been trying to gear my people
up. Very good point.
But if you can save those Ultimus raid orbs, because that mutant gear is going to be added, and so you'll get a chance to get it at least.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of that, especially for blues, in case they are going to be doing mutant specific gear for blues. That would really help out a lot for that, because we don't really need them. It's just going into a stockpile. I mean, we need them, of course, but for the most part, it's going into a big stockpile for a lot of us. So if we just save them up and hopefully become mutant gear, that would be good. But purples you kind of still need, so you're still helping yourself if you pull the purples now. But if you really want to try to rush up those mutants, I would say overall, I would just try to gear up your mutants now just for safety. But yeah, I mean, that's a good idea, saving up your orbs, especially the blue ones, just in case.
Yeah, like I said, I have not been. You have to weigh it for yourself on, are you going to hurt your progress if you hold them, or are you going to help yourself? So, because there's still some blue gear I need. So, when I can drop three Ultimus orbs a day, or the three blue raid orbs a day, that's pretty nice.
Yeah,
but like, everybody needs to do what's best for their team.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And Chewy, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, look, I mean, I like the hint here that maybe it stays to purple gear. I mean, the green and the blues are probably the parts that I was worried about the most, because we know that there's been a couple of brand new mutant characters. We know there's going to be a lot more coming, and that's going to be something we're talking about in a moment. But if you have to, go back and grind green nodes and blue nodes and that sort of stuff, that's going to be painful and such a waste of campaign energy. If it's just purple, I'm actually 100% on board. I really am. So, yeah, that's great advice from Evan, though. I don't know why I haven't been doing that. Obviously, he's a significantly smarter individual than I am. So, bouncing back, because, guys, just in time, we just need to keep pushing. So, Hebrew, Loki is going to be leaving the premium orb. So, they're suggesting that Loki will be removed from the premium orb as the jackpot prize. So, Badger, just in time. Oh, no, it was Urbane, just in time, buddy. That the jackpot prize on October 4 was featured in the God of Mischief orb. So he will be removed from the jackpot prize on October 4, and then they'll be moving into a paid orb for characters. So guys like Urbane Raven, who unlocked his Loki just before the show started, or like myself, the same time last week, obviously great for us. But what about you? As someone that didn't get lucky yet, what do you think about this?
Well, I hate you guys first off, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm no longer friends with. But yeah, I mean, how should I say? I have a feeling that they're going to be doing this with characters that are going to blitz. So I think that they're going to start kind of keeping this cadence for them, which is put them in a jackpot slot for a little bit, and then whenever it's their blitz, move them to a paid orb, and then we go ahead and roll them out through 2 blitzes. I think that's kind of be something that we see a lot of. That being said, Loki's a very good character, an incredibly good character actually, and I think he's going to be clutch for a lot of stuff to come, because invisibility, AoE invisibility is just almost invaluable in some cases, especially when you have to get real tactical with some specific nodes. So
Sure.
I'm much more upset about not pulling him specifically for this jackpot and missing out on him than I will for many others, I'm sure. So as long as they that being said, as long as they keep this as a normal cadence method for release, then I think I'll be okay with it. I'll get over it. But if this was just a one-time thing and now I'll never have another shot at it, then I'm kind of be upset. Which I know for Loki specifically, I won't. But yeah, I mean, if it was just Loki that's doing this one time, yeah, I'm going to be a little upset. But other than that, I think I can work around it. I'm just a little hurt on the inside that I didn't get Loki stuff.
That's understandable.
I'm debating finding a way to hack your account. So just be prepared for that one.
Oh, that's all right. That's not an account you want to hack. Trust me. All right. So Dorian, I've been saving a big one for you, mate. Are you ready?
Yeah. What? I don't get to talk about the Loki leaving premium?
Oh, you can if you like. I'm just going to bounce around from topic to topic. Just
No, that's all right.
Time, but no, please, yeah.
I think it's great. I have no problem with it. I like what they're doing here. You got to remember his blitz starts that same day on October 4th. So you'll be able to buy orbs for probably 675 power cores, which is what they're doing right now for Miss Marvel. So this doesn't bother me at all. Congratulations to everybody that got him. We all have, I want to kind of say a quote unquote equal chance of pulling him, because the drop rates don't vary by individual unless they've got some weird funky coding going in there. That would be very bad. So, if people want to spend to get the premiums to get him, or they get lucky and get him, more power to you. Congratulations. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So here it is. If this is true, I think this is actually quite a big change and update. Thanos and Deadpool available in premium orbs. Ooh. So the message reads, Thanos and Deadpool are now available in the premium orb, the mega orb, and the supply section of the store. Purchase premium orbs in the store or collect 2,000 premium orb fragments to recruit these powerful characters that were once only available from their respective raids. So being that you're a huge Thanos fan, Dorian, how excited are you right now?
Meh.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Moving right along
so,
then.
No. So let me get in. So I was kind of thinking about something. What was the last part of that you said? Did you say the raids are going away?
It doesn't say that. So that's actually a good point to raise. It does not say that. It just says that they were once only available from their respective event raids. So I think they could well stay. In fact, I think that they probably will, because it's just such an entrenched part of the monthly rotation that there are always 2 simultaneous raids.
But I think the one thing we have to think about is that we know for a fact that coming soon is another character that we've been told, is going to be kind of an exclusive unlock.
Yep.
And he could be replacing one of their raids, or we could be seeing. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit to the dev blog update, but Magneto would be a perfect raid character. And so
I'd love to talk about that then, because I actually have a different theory about Magneto, but we'll talk about that when we get to that section.
Right. But the point where I'm trying to get to is they could be replacing the Thanos and Deadpool raids with new character raids.
Absolutely.
I mean, look, if they're going to come into premium, great. I think that's awesome for that. But at the same time, I'm worried that they're going to take away the raids, right? So if they come into the orbs, awesome, but if they're going to go out of the raids, that could actually hurt people more than help them.
So I actually have that same concern for the whole reason that a lot of people are sort of challenged or upset sometimes by Black Widow, because obviously then it kind of creates that beta situation versus global launch where she was available and farmable during that, and then now she's not. She's only available in premium orbs. Then all of us that have been getting all this awesome Thanos shards over the last couple of months, then if that moves out of raids, then they kind of become the new Black Widows. Do you know what I mean? For newer players.
Absolutely. Because Thanos and Deadpool both are awesome characters.
100%.
And
could not agree more.
I mean, I dropped a T4 ability mats into Thanos to get that 2 energy. I mean,
I know.
Those things are like gold.
100%. What about you, Hebrew? Where are you at if this is real?
So I have a slightly different take on this. So first of all, my mind darted to the same thing that Dorian's did. Whenever I heard that, or whenever I heard you say that they're going to be going out into the stores, I thought, okay, then they're going to be phased out, and then they're going to be replaced with new incoming raid characters. And from what I saw with Magneto and the wording in it, I thought that was going to be a raid already. But now that you tell me that they're going to be phased out, then I think that it's going to be a replacement. But I totally agree that Thanos and Deadpool both are astoundingly good characters, and that it does create a little bit of a paywall scenario, same as what we're experiencing with Black Widow. But at the same time, it seems like we don't have much source material to go off with this besides those 2 characters, granted. But I have a feeling that those raid characters are always going to be great. So I think that the new raid characters that they're going to bring in will also be on the same tier level as those 2 in their own right, of course. So I think that if they keep doing this kind of phase in, phase out thing, it always gives a different advantage to people that start at different times. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. So for me, I think that if they keep doing that and keep giving someone an advantage, or like each new group that's coming in at a specific time, an advantage, I think that it'll be okay, because the other ones still will be available. Unfortunately, they will be through premiums, but it kind of adds this exclusivity factor to the characters that I kind of like in a way. But on the flip side of that, I totally understand the whole locking them behind a paywall thing is troublesome for the game. But as long as they keep things up, I'm sorry, I'm probably reiterating this over and over again, but as long as they keep up with these new characters always being on the same tier level, I think it'll be okay. But people that have been around long enough to keep collecting all of these people, they're going to have a definite advantage. So I don't know.
So I guess my only counter to that is going to be, my feeling is, look, we don't know yet how we're going to get Venom, right? And he looks like he could be a really interesting character if they pull Thanos out of or if Deadpool out of the raids and put Venom in its place. Then the people that start now or started recently will be able to get another different great character, right? So I don't know if the falling behind, because we can't have too many raids in this current structure with the fact that they run like 14 days or whatever, that you can't just keep doing that raid upon raid upon raid, because you're not going to get these characters back for 3 or 4 months. And they do something somewhat similar in Galaxy of Heroes with the legendary characters that you can get, like every month they run a different legendary, or every few weeks or whatever. But with this raid structure, I don't feel that works as well. We don't have the ability to kind of run these because they're 24 hours, right? They're a significant time investment. It's not like, in Galaxy of Heroes where you've got the tank that you can launch and you're going to kill it in an hour, or even the Sith raid that you launch and you kill it in 90 minutes. It's a 24-hour grind.
So to counter that point, though, I mean, on the Galaxy of Heroes, if you look at heroic Sith raids, a lot of those at the moment might take 2 days, because that's just the fact that power creep hasn't gone as far yet in this game as it has over there. I mean, who's to say in the near future that people won't be able to clear that raid as soon as they've got enough energy to do so. Getting
Well,
it
but-
well
but-
under 12 hours, for example.
That's the problem, is getting the energy to do it, right? You have to have the
Yeah.
energy to do it. And unless you're buying those refreshes, you're not doing it in any type of significant time frame. And that actually causes, look, we saw problems with like the 12-hour Deadpool, right? Or the 2-hour Deadpool, where trying to get the alliance times organized, because you've got people all over the world in multiple alliances. And I just don't feel that, it's something that I worry about. The raid structure in the game, I love raids. Don't get me wrong. They're one of my favorite game modes, but I worry about their intent going forward with them.
Yeah. So look, I'm kind of agreeing with you guys on a lot of the things, but at the same time, these are legendary characters. The far end unlock, supposed to take a long time. I would say the next Deadpool, when he releases, I'm probably going to hit 7 stars. I'm going to walk away with 6-star Thanos at the end of this. I mean, my rate of progression has been huge.
Did you happen to look in the live chat?
I haven't.
Yeah, look in the live chat and scroll back up just a little. I pulled our Thanos raid ended a few minutes ago.
Okay, yep. Congratulations. 25 shards. That's great.
25 shards. Yeah. I'm now sitting at
fantastic.
148 to 200. So I also have a very good chance of walking out of here with a 6-star Thanos. And I'm 38 to 300 for Deadpool. I don't know if I'll hit 7, but I'll be really close.
Yeah, and that's exciting. But I mean, that seems to be far ahead of, I suppose, where the developers think that we should be. But it also creates a big gap between the two of us. So yeah, I'd love to see the raids sort of stay on a similar cadence, maybe slightly less. But if they're going to drop the cadence, then maybe they up the rewards for Thanos so that people, or Deadpool, so that people can keep unlocking it. So there's one last part of this data mine, guys, which is not as exciting as the rest. And that is that it looks like there's going to be a series of large offers coming to the game. Now, one of the ones in the data mine is actually already here. And that is a pack for 200 of the T4 ability mats, which, as we know, is just enough for one T4 ability. That is, I don't know what it is on your stores, but it's 80 Australian dollars. How much is it for you guys?
I do not see that offer currently.
Okay, so maybe it hasn't reached you yet. So the hilarious thing about this orb, right, is that it says that it is 75% off its normal value. If that's true, they're suggesting that 200 T4 ability mats is worth 320 Australian dollars.
Yeah,
that is madness.
Well, so look, this is all a marketing ploy, right? They're saying 75% off, but we don't have a baseline. So we never had a, hey, this is what it was. So the 75% off is a joke. It's a complete and utter marketing ploy. Oh, hey, there's a Harlem Hero off $20.
We'll talk
I already
about
have it started. Let's see. Oh, I got the $10.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems ludicrously overpriced, but I'm sure some of the whales, that gives them one more passive ability probably, or maybe they're saving it for ultimates. Who knows? But the other thing, Dorian, is that they're actually listing a few other offers coming soon. So it looks like they're going to do some of those deals like they did over in Galaxy of Heroes when they get to a milestone, like a 1-year type thing. So it looks like they might be releasing some offers around the big update, the level cap increase, the new game mode. So the way the email reads is get power cores, premium orbs, gold orbs, and campaign energy, and save over, there's 3 different tiers, 40, 50, or 60% if you buy it now. So it looks like they're going to do some big bundle where you're getting all of those things together. What kind of dollar value for someone that sort of dips in and out of just very minor purchases, what dollar value would you have to see to buy a pack like that?
So that's a really good question, because right now, like, the most popular is 1,580 power cores for $19.99. So if we do like a 40% off, you're looking at like $12 for half an orb, $50 for 2 orbs, or I'm sorry, for 4,000 cores. Geez, I don't know. Look, I'll buy characters. I don't buy resources. Because resources are free. Because what you're buying is to get ahead of the game. And so I'm not a resource buyer, so I'm probably not the guy to ask for.
Yeah, sure. Well, let me ask you this, Hebrew. There's one other pack in the game right now that I actually don't mind the look of.
Yep.
100 of the T3 ability mats and 50 of the ABCs for $10 US. How does that one appeal to someone like you?
Actually, this is the first time in a while that I have been tempted to buy, because I haven't bought in a long time in this game. And that makes me really tempted to buy. I'm not going to lie. 50 ABCs and that many. I wish that the T3 was more, like there was more than that, but the 50 ABCs is really the draw for me. The T3s are bonuses. So, but yeah, it is really tempting to me because I think it's a pretty good offer.
Yeah, and look, I know I just said I don't buy resources. I'm not gonna lie. That one is one I would buy.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Because that one, I mean that one, the 100 T3 ability mats alone, I'm sorry, the 50 ABCs alone is worth almost that much for me. Because that's like a one full T11 ability.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly
I'm getting more than I would in an entire hand event right now. If I clear the entire hand event, I'm getting more, like a good bit more. So yeah. I think that's a pretty good value right there. One of the better values.
Especially to put it in perspective too, that a week ago, because I usually track the offers quite a bit just to sort of see, okay, when they say 20% off, 75%, are they actually being consistent? So, I mean, the ability mats alone on that package about a week ago was like $40 Australian. And then now that pack is 15. So, yeah, there's a lot about that I think is okay. If you've got $10 lying around, I think you could do worse than that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Very good. So look, just again, reminding everyone that last segment was all pulled from data mine information. Okay, so it's not official. We don't know 100% that all of that is going into the game, but we do believe that will be happening possibly in the near future, if it is going to happen at all. Okay, so last piece of the news before we get into Dorian's most weighted segment of the week. All right, so there was a very quick post from the devs last night that basically was tied into the Defenders update, which has blindsided us right before the podcast. So great for us to be able to announce it at the same time, and we can all react together live to some of this news. So I'll read out the first part straight off their website. So some big changes are coming to the big city, specifically the Defenders and Punisher. If you haven't recruited them yet, now would be a good time. Starting today, their power is growing. And then they list some changes, which we're going to go through later. But skipping a little bit further down, we have a segment that says, looking behind the city skyline, grand plans are in motion. Storm has freed the mutants from the ravages of the legacy virus, and now the Brotherhood of Mutants is coming for vengeance. Mystique, a deadly spy and agent of the legendary Magneto. We need to talk about those two words very shortly, guys. Of the legendary Magneto has arrived to set the stage. She is infiltrating the villains campaign and will be available for collection as a campaign drop in Chapter 5 very soon. So gather all of the upcoming Brotherhood characters in preparation for Magneto's arrival later this year. So let's talk about Mystique first. What do you guys think about her as a character coming to the game?
I know that Dorian's been wanting her for a long time. So Dorian, I'm going to go ahead and let you take this one.
Yeah, actually, I think when we talked last week about what mutants we would like to see, she was one of those that I had listed, and I'm actually kind of excited to see what they do. I'm curious to see what route they go with her kit, and to see what they wind up doing with her. Like, is she just going to mimic people, but only get like partial abilities? You know, is it going to be the blue skin, but she then changes skin when she mimics? Because that would be awesome. You know, I think there's a lot of ways they could go here, and I'm super excited to see what they're going to do.
Oh, me too. And Hebrew, what do you think about the fact that it looks like she's just going to go straight into the campaign, probably replacing Hand Assassin in the 5 villains node?
So with that, it's interesting because it's the first time a new character has went straight to a node. So that'll be interesting, but it's one node, and I'm sure it's going to have. Did they say which one? I'm sorry.
Yes, so it's the one where Hand Assassin is. So they haven't specifically said that, but they've been saying for weeks now that the Hand Assassin is going to be removed from that villain's node. And now they've basically said in this post that she's going into Villains 5 somewhere. So put those two pieces together, I'd say that she's replacing Hand Assassin and coming straight into the game.
Yep, I agree. And so, yeah, because of that, it's going to be difficult to farm her, I think, just because my luck on farming nodes are terrible typically. So we'll see. But I'm really excited that she's coming into the game. I want her into the game. She's going to be a great addition. She's going to offer a new mechanic. So yeah, I'm pumped that she's coming in. I just think that it's going to be very slow to, depending on how many stars you need, of course, to unlock her. I just think it's going to be a pretty slow process potentially.
And that actually bothers me.
Yep.
Because if we go where I think you're wanting to go with some of the words that you said, Chewy, on this, typically that's a 5-star unlock.
Yeah.
And if she is a single hard node only, that's a blatant power core purchase cash grab. Because
you think she's going to be a 5-star unlock?
No, I think that if Magneto is a legendary character, which is typically a 5-star unlock, that the only way you're going to get him is to have 5. So can we jump to that? Well, we'll wait. I'll wait till you get there.
He's excited to go for that.
I'll tell you why when we get there. So I don't like the fact that she's going to a single campaign hard node. I'm not a fan.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we know there's probably going to be an offer in the vein of Storm, for example. So
yeah, that's true.
Because we've already seen some data mined info that there's going to be a Venom offer, which is one of the ways that we believe that he's going to unlock at 2 stars, and that it looks more and more likely that he's going to be a story campaign character. Although it still could be a raid, we don't 100% know. But there's one way of unlocking at the start, and then you would have to think she's going to come with the blitz too, right?
Maybe.
If she comes with a blitz, it'll certainly be better. I think that if they are going to go for a legendary event, I think that she's going to have to come with a blitz, because otherwise it's going to take way too long, and no one besides the whales, even more so than, depending on, of course, the distance between the two, but it sounds like it'll be pretty close. But it'll be even less people than like Kree grabbing her, Magneto, for the first run. So. Yeah. I'm not sure.
I can tell you guys are itching to get there, so let's get there. Let's face it, the way that reads, Magneto legendary event. It just reads that way.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Okay, you're absolutely right. If you take them at face value in the words that they say, it does read that way. However, the only counter I have to that is it says you have to gather all the upcoming Brotherhood characters. Well, we're only getting 4 new characters, maybe 5 total the rest of this year. And we know one of them's a hero, and we know one of them's Venom. So, and it says later this year. So I don't see how we're going to get 5 Brotherhood mutants that you're going to have to get to 5 stars before Magneto drops. I don't see any way it's going to happen.
I get you. What about you, Hebrew?
Yeah, so that's, like I originally said, my mind kind of went to a raid with him, and I still think that it is going to be, I get, obviously, as you read it, legendary, but maybe they threw that in there just to kind of screw with us. I could see them totally doing that, but
possibly.
Yeah. So, I honestly think, for the same exact reason that Dorian said, it'd be so tight to do that with needing Brotherhood. Especially if it's not just if it's not mutants and Brotherhood, which from the language doesn't sound like it is. It's going to be just Brotherhood. Then it's going to be so tight, considering they're teasing that coming relatively soon. So I don't know. I'm thinking raid. And I mean, it only makes sense too. I feel like they're going to have to phase out those old ones eventually, or at least add more into rotation. I feel like we're not just going to be stuck with those 2 forever. And it would be one thing if it was just, Thanos is one of those huge characters that is like big boss, right? But then we also have Deadpool, and he's kind of the outlier of that. I mean, he's a great character, funny character, but he's not on the same power scale as Thanos. So I don't know. I just think that I think that they're just going to phase them out since there's not a particular like power reason behind it. I think that it's just going to be phased out at some point. That's just my opinion on it.
Guys, I can't see a better time than any to actually get someone in to perhaps comment a little bit further on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a surprise guest, and this is a surprise for the host here as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Khasino to the show. How are you, mate?
I'm doing pretty good. Been a busy day. What's up, guys?
Not bad. Are you in a wind tunnel right now, or skydiving, or?
That must be the portable AC.
Wait, hold on.
All right.
For some reason, he's muted. Okay, Khasino, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I'm going to mute for a second and turn the portable AC off. Just a second.
All right, no worries.
No problems at all, mate. No problems at all. You got to love
Chewie, were you able to hear him?
Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, I couldn't hear him. Because I had to go through and mute people the other day, so I had him muted the last time he was in. That's why I couldn't hear him.
How dare you?
No, I know. How dare I mute Khasino? Oh my god, I'm about to get blown up on Reddit.
No,
so, guys, the reason that Khasino is here is we've been talking to him over the last couple of hours. He has some potential exclusive news and theorizing that he'd love to do with us on the podcast. So we appreciate you stopping by, mate. So let's start with this topic. I mean, is there anything you can say or anything you want to say about Magneto, Mystique, Brotherhood, or X-Men?
So I will definitely have something to say on this topic, but just to kind of lay the groundwork for this.
Sure.
Now I have a bunch of information that I'm probably not supposed to have. I haven't asked anyone what I can and can't share because I wasn't really supposed to know in the first place. So let me protect myself and you guys by saying technically everything you're about to hear is rumor and hearsay and is unconfirmed and is not from an official source. That said, if I were a betting man, I would feel very comfortable going all in on this information, but it did not come from a direct official source. So it is rumor, and some of this stuff is farther out than others. So depending on what I say, it is even if it is absolutely 100% accurate, what is going on today, as Fox Next has previously told me, things are subject to change up until like 3 days beforehand. So
gotta cover your ass.
Yep, want to put that out there.
Yeah.
That said, I am going to try to be intentionally vague on some of these things just because, I just don't want to spill every surprise they have coming. I don't think they'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
But what I will say is regarding Magneto, his release is going to be something new. I would call it new. It hasn't been done before, but it's using familiar elements, so it's not going to be like wildly like, oh, that's totally like, it's not starkly different from things that have happened before, but it is definitely a unique release method. And I would recommend that you be interested in both the current mutants and the Brotherhood.
Ooh, okay. Very interesting. So Evan B from our chat very quickly asked Khasino, would you bet $100 on it? Just
wait, wasn't it multiple 100?
Yeah, it was 200. All right. Well, anyway, thanks.
Hey, that's your buddy Evan, by the way.
Yeah, no,
yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, no, that sounds pretty interesting. What do you guys think about that vagueness? Start with you, Dorian.
Yeah, so that makes me feel much more comfortable. That it could be like some hybrid legendary raid, maybe. Or maybe like a raid with some trait specific nodes that require the Brotherhood. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like that. If we're gonna see some type of conglomerate of this legendary raid, that'll be really cool. And we may see something very similar to what like Galaxy of Here does, where you have to have them at certain stars to be able to do certain things, and you only get to start to unlock it specific star levels for the raid.
What about you, Hebrew?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually really excited for that. I've always preached from the beginning that I want them to always try to push the bar with releases and try new methods, because I think it's kind of the spice of life. Try out new different things. So I am very excited for that, and I'm glad to hear that it will not be coming in a straight up legendary fashion. So
And speaking of excited, Khasino, you said you had some other things that you'd love to share with us today.
Well, so I mean, I have so much, but I want to tease some of it for my content. I'm happy to share with you guys, but what I was thinking just off the top of my head, because I got so much info, was just...
Now, remember, our show won't come out until Sunday anyway.
I will try to keep that in mind, but at least for the people listening here live, they're getting that.
Exactly. But okay, I tried. I'm sorry.
Try to sneak it by. There's no one else with this. I swear.
There's nobody else here. It don't look behind the curtain.
No, I'm happy to share you guys. So you guys are literally going to be the first people to hear this. Like I haven't shared any of the stuff I've learned, and I've learned a ton of stuff. I would say I have a pretty good idea for just about everything that's coming up for the next few months. Which of course is all subject to change. So, things that are in the pipeline 2.5 months from now, who knows what will actually look like. But I'm very excited for a lot of things I've heard. But so the format I was thinking that would keep it fun, exciting, just letting like each of you guys ask one question about whatever you wanted. And if I couldn't answer it, then I'll just, go again.
Oh God, I don't know the questions to ask. There's so many.
Dorian,
wait, are we restricted to one apiece?
I think that's the fun way to do it.
Oh God, this is the most dangerous game. People from the chat, please help. Put forward some good questions.
All right, so I know what I want to ask is obviously we have the big update coming very shortly, Khasino. We know that has the level cap. That's no one is not aware of that. But obviously we have the Stark Tech and the Alliance leveling. Is that something that is very, very gold driven, or is there anything else that people are going to have to donate? And should everyone out there right now be saving their gold as we speak?
In the current way that it was presented to me, there are several levels, and the first level will involve gold, and the second and third level will involve power cores. And you will...
Are you kidding me?
I wish I was. And you will not need much gold. It will be more about having everyone participate. And I haven't seen the specifics of how it's going to work, but there are quite a few levels based on how many people pitch in. And so it does seem to be a matter of, like, it's not... Like you can eventually be done with it, and each day it will change, if that makes any sense. So like each day you'll go to the degree that you want to go, but it's just a matter of progressing on what you're trying to progress with that, faster or slower. So
and the last part of that question is the bonuses that you get without being specific, are they major? Like, are they going to be significant boost to alliances?
They are actually significant. It's tricky to say. Over time, they will become very significant. They will feel very small and incremental as it's happening. But, if you look back over the last 3 months, it will end up being very significant, and it is actually tied to the individual. So even if you alliance hop, you will retain. So basically, there's...
That's great.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, so I was absolutely wrong then, what I said earlier.
So the way it's actually going to work is the higher level you are, the more of a currency you'll get, and you can use that currency how you see fit personally.
Aha. Okay. I think I get where you're going there. Okay.
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. All right, you boys, have you got a question prepared yet? Who's ready to go?
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take Assassins that he mentioned in chat, which is excluding the things you've already told us. I don't want you to try to get sneaky on me. What's the craziest thing that's on the docket?
Oh, God. I have to look at my notes. The craziest thing?
Yeah, craziest meaning like biggest impact.
Let me circle back on that one. Like, I will answer that, but while I'm talking about the other things, let me see. There's so much, and I don't want to like realize an hour from now, like, oh, how did I not bring this up?
All right, well then, go over to Dorian right now then.
Actually, I do have my answer.
Yeah.
And this was one of the more recent ones, but so to me, this was the craziest one. So I really can't give the specifics on this one. This was one of the few things I was told just like please don't give the specifics on.
Right.
But so we know there's a new game mode coming, and they're kicking around a few ideas for what they're going to do for World First for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
okay.
And I really like some of the ideas. They were pretty crazy.
Oh God, I'm gonna be super jealous of whoever gets that.
I said like, oh, I'll just need a small loan of $1 million and I am in.
Yeah. All right. Well, so the second part of that question is, what's the second craziest thing on your docket?
Oh, seriously?
No. Try to pull a Chewy on that one and see if I can slide it by you.
Yeah, I mean, Chewy did technically ask 2, but
He
that's
did
all right.
ask 2 questions, but
Why are you gonna point this shit out? Come on.
whatever works. All right, Dorian, you go ahead and go.
I really don't know if I have a question, so let me steal. I'm gonna phone a friend here, and so we're gonna go to Evan here. Other than the now, is there any new Panic Farm that we should get a jump on now?
That's an excellent question. It's the one I've been getting the most, and I would say no. I would say no, but everything coming up, I would recommend that you Panic Farm, which I know is not what people want to hear. I wasn't particularly thrilled to hear that, but
right.
I plan
That's
on
kind of what I figured as well. Is that whatever's coming up, we need to focus on.
I plan on panic farming whatever's coming up, and I haven't had enough time to really look at these defender changes, but the only thing I might start farming more now would be the defenders if they live up to the hype, but I haven't even really had time to sit down and look at that. I've been busy all day.
Yeah, I have not, unfortunately. I tried to take them into a raid, but I don't have them geared where they should be. So I was not as excited about the update as I felt I would have been, but my outside of cage, they're pretty lackluster.
Yeah, mine are kind of spread out. My JJ is a little strong for the rest of the team. Their first venture in a tier 8 blitz didn't go so well either.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the team's fault. I think it's my roster's fault.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way right now.
Yeah, we're going to break that down very shortly. So, Khasino, can I push the friendship and possibly ask 2 questions live from 2 of our listeners right now?
We could try. Let's see what we get.
That's okay. Look, you can only say what you can say, right? So going to Abaya Rathor, and I hope that I said that right. If I haven't, I apologize. So if we assume that the revised timeline that's happening somewhere in the Marvel universe right now, that is one Foxnet is going with, he's asking, is the Brotherhood going to be Mystique, Emma Frost, Azazel, Riptide, Angel, and Salvador? Or sorry, Angel Salvador, sorry. It is without confirming, can you say how many of those are correct?
Not many.
Okay.
No, I think Toad's going to be in there. I think Sabretooth's going to be in there. Blob probably will be in there.
The old school? I want to see Juggernaut, man. I see Juggernaut's so bad.
Juggernaut, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but Juggernaut wasn't a mutant, so I don't know.
Side question real quick. Just because I'm sure the answer is no. Has there been any talk of Gambit?
Not that I've heard.
God.
Oh,
so
I don't know why you're surprised by this.
I just wanted to hear yes.
We know that they only plan on releasing one more hero for the rest of this year. So I think they are well aware that, like, they're Fox. They've had the rights to the X-Men. I think they're well aware that Gambit is insanely popular. So I will be absolutely shocked if this time next year we don't have Gambit. I will. Oh, sorry about that. Specifically asked the girlfriend to keep the dog out of the room for this too.
I figured it was Fox next with their attack dogs that have just realized that they've got a leak, and it's just kicking the doors down. Yeah. But the one last hero for the year, it's got to be Cyclops, right?
Let me see if I know who that is. Hold on.
Okay, because we'd had some info that potentially Okoye had been severely delayed. So it doesn't sound like she's going to be anytime soon, and that's from the other side of the fence. So
there's
Khasino is
Cyclops too.
Oh yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's in the story, right? For Storm's campaign event. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So based on what we've just heard, while Khasino deals with the rabid dog,
Mastermind.
what do you
That's
what do you
who it
guys
was.
think about what he said to us so far?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, for me, at least with I like the sound of these the Stark mod, or not, I shouldn't say mods, but the Stark tech. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it could have potentially been. So personally, yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for it now. Like, I mean, I was already excited for it, but I'm comfortable with it, and I'm also excited now. As for the world's first person to complete the new mode, I'm upset about, I guess. I mean, like, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but they're gonna get so much stuff, and then that person's just gonna be unbeatable. Like,
So let me interject with that. What I
Mhm.
like about it is it is actually less about getting loaded up with stuff that you'd
Mhm.
want, and more about leaving
exclusivity.
getting some stuff that's not tangible, but it's
That's
that you
EP
want.
skins. That's what it is.
It is super EP to the max.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
So if they do something like that, actually, then yeah, I'm totally fine with that. That didn't even cross my mind, and I hope that they do that. That would actually be a good way to kind of offset a lot of people with first place of anything, is to kind of give them some kind of exclusive, non-advantageous things, and just kind of keep the rewards more balanced between the different tiers. But I'm glad to hear that.
And from what I have learned about this new game mode, it sounds like if you are actually world first, and remember, because the devs have said there's going to be multiple difficulties,
Right.
this would be for the toughest difficulty. So I don't think if you're the world first to complete the toughest difficulty that you're hoping to get any items or anything.
Okay.
I think you're pretty well ahead of everyone. Literally.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. At that point, if you're the world's first, you're already loaded in front of everyone, so it really won't make a difference. But yeah, no, I think that's pretty cool, actually. Now that I know that, I think that's actually pretty interesting.
Absolutely. So, Khasino, is there any other tidbits that you want to leave with us before you save some things for your own stream? I know you've got a lot to talk about. Is there any last things you would like to talk about with us?
I want to do this to keep it fun.
Okay.
You guys are trying to speculate about the new characters, and I feel like I could get some angry letters if I just straight up leaked characters. But I'm happy.
Yeah, don't do that.
But I'm happy to leak like a first letter of one of the upcoming.
Something's
We're a
happening.
robot.
Oh, there it is.
He's being hacked. There it is.
Yeah, Fox Next is going. No, you won't. No, you won't.
Yeah.
So I probably should have thought more than 2 seconds about this before appearing on your podcast and completely staining the first episode. I'm tethering the internet from my phone.
No, you're all right.
That's fine, buddy.
So let's go with well, this will leave it pretty vague, but let's go with the letter P. Give you guys that one.
Pyro.
Was always a brotherhood.
Pyro.
So I can't confirm or deny any characters, but
right. Oh, that would be interesting, because they might be going with Mystique's Brotherhood, not Magneto's Brotherhood, which would be Blob, Pyro, Avalanche, Destiny, and Rogue.
You got Psylocke and Phoenix, of course, which people are screaming at us right now in the Discord chat.
That's what I'm looking at. And
but were Psylocke and Phoenix weren't Brotherhood of Evil Mutant?
Psylocke, I think, has danced in and out of that space before. She's definitely gone dark side before, and then she's kind of an anti-hero like a lot of are. Phoenix, I don't know that she was Brotherhood, but then again, we don't necessarily know that that's what Khasino was getting at. That was for Brotherhood. It was just characters in general. Is that right?
In MCU, she was Brotherhood for just a little bit.
True.
Yep.
Just saying.
Interesting. We'll spend some time
but they've not been
on
following the MCU like at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think. Well, in some
they're
cases
not
they
MCU.
have, in some
That's
cases
Fox.
they haven't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's true. But I mean, I don't know. That might have played a part. So we'll have to see. Interesting.
Any
stuff,
other guesses on that one, guys?
Oh, that's probably it for me. But I think that since Mystique has already been kind of mentioned, and she seems to be kind of the flagship for Brotherhood, it would be a pretty good guess that it might be her version of Brotherhood, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that might be the case.
Which would be interesting because Mystique's first Brotherhood, she sent them to fight Carol Danvers.
Oh.
Which is how Rogue absorbed and retained Danvers' powers and memory.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, this could all kind of tie in a little bit. So I could see that.
And just as a general guiding principle, I haven't even looked, so that I apologize if this actually throws you off the path. I haven't actually checked, but as a general rule, when they roll out characters, they try to prioritize just who is overall going to be the most well-known, the best received. So like, obviously we had Wolverine as the first X-Men because he's, you think X-Men, you think Wolverine, but like the first major mutant since him, excluding Deadpool Cable, the first one that let us know, oh, something's we're starting to see some mutants was Storm. And I think she's like the #1 most popular in the whole franchise.
Oh, really?
I believe so.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
So as you're trying to think of the characters that they would feasibly release, you have to remember they're going for the broadest audience possible. So if you have this niche character that was in one run of comics for 2 years and they were super awesome, probably not them.
So potentially.
So what you're telling me is there will never be a Deathlock.
I don't know.
So I mean,
I don't know the character that well, so I would say less likely.
The 1990 go find the 1992 Deathlock. I'll give you. You can find them online. They're really good.
Gonna train him up on Marvel Comics.
Yeah, apparently.
We said that. We'll do a special episode on that, a lore special where you can bring in the elders. So, any other parts of the Sesame Street alphabet guessing game for us this week, Khasino?
I think that's it for now. Do you guys feel like you've received an adequate amount of teasers? You got enough to?
Oh yeah.
We're more than happy for you to keep going if you want to, mate. That's absolutely your call.
I think that the news has been absolutely awesome. Thank you very much. I think the only thing that's upset me is the power cores to advanced levels.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled to hear that either. But like I said, it's more of a speeding up a process type of thing where there's going to be people who are willing to do it to have it done faster. But nothing.
I think that's only fair in a way. Yeah, I think that's only fair in a way. I mean, at the end of the game, or at the end of the day, it is a game that does require money. So, and resources that you can buy always expedite whatever process. So it kind of makes sense that they were
yes. If it's a requirement to upgrade, then that's a problem.
Yeah, I agree with that. If it's just a speed up method, then I can understand.
Yeah, I'm fine with the speed up method. But if it's a requirement, like to get to level 2, you have to use power cores as your donations, I'm gonna be like, dude, that's horrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, only time will tell for those.
Yep, we'll have to see.
All right, so Khasino, are you sticking around with us, or are you?
I mean, I'm welcome. If you guys want me to sit in and weigh in, I'm happy to. Or if you want me to go see if I can fight off the attack dog, I can leave you guys to it.
Up to you guys.
Yeah, I'm more than happy for you to hang around if you want to interject. Completely up to you. Yeah, we're just about to go into the Defenders breakdown anyway. But I need to comment on the fact that, Khasino, it sounds awesome every time you talk right now on the Touch to Talk. It sounds like the intro of Law and Order. It's like, dun, dun, just before you're about to say something. So it sounds really important, like what's about to come out of your mouth.
Yeah, that's how we know he's coming.
Exactly.
All right, well, so let's go ahead and move on to the next segment, I guess.
Fantastic. So this is the part that Dorian has been waiting for many, many, many months. The question is, though, and I think we should start there because I'm sure there are some people that want to hear it right off the bat. Did Luke Cage live up to the expectations of where Dorian wanted him to be? Is he now colloquially good for everyone? So do you want to go through the kit, or do you want me to read it out and then you respond, Dorian?
I can go through the Luke Cage kit, or why don't you go ahead and read it out, and then
Okay, absolutely. So let's talk about his primary, which is beat up. So now when he attacks, similar to almost like a Fury type mechanic, there is a 30% chance that he will apply assist now to a random hero ally. Now, they will also, if that person is a defender, they will also gain offense up. What do we think about that change?
So I like the now. I think that's really good.
Okay.
I do like the offense up. And I'm just gonna say this before you talk about all the rest of it. He got, obviously it's a very defender specific upgrade. So I think that he became a lot more niche in what he's useful for. That I think his utility outside the defenders dropped, in my opinion. And that he's really just a defender tank at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that does say that they gain the offense up, but it is a random hero ally, so that still does apply outside. So
no,
actually,
you only get the offense. You only get the offense up if it's a defender ally.
Exactly,
so
that's what I'm saying. But the assist now can be on any hero, though, so it does expand past the defenders. Yep,
it does expand past the defenders, but it doesn't. It doesn't really work as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, you could put him in a team with just another hero ally. And so, I mean, there's ways to kind of target that ability if you want.
Because he knows a lot about some of the coding behind the game, I'd actually love to ask Khasino a question here, because this could completely change how I perceive this ability for Luke Cage. Khasino, do you think that this will actually apply on an assist or a counter? If Luke Cage assists or counters, will he have a 30% chance to then apply a second assist now? What do you think?
It would be unprecedented. I haven't looked at the newest code, and this was literally changed today. But in the past, no one has ever had programmed into their assist the ability to call an assist. And there are...
Wait,
didn't Kingpin have that?
About that? Rocket does that.
On his assist, he calls an assist?
Hold on.
I don't believe anyone.
I thought he called in. Doesn't he?
That's on his that's on his special.
That's his special. Yeah, there are abilities that call assists, but I don't think anyone's assist has ever called an assist. Kingpin can just give an assist to like any villain at the start of their turn. Someone might jump in and assist, and Nebula might jump in and assist, but I don't think anyone's a condition on anyone's assist has ever been to call an assist. And so I would say there's like a 5% chance that it works that way, but I haven't seen it.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking Star-Lord's ultimate. He always pulls in a random. And because I run a Guardians team and I run Rocket and Groot together, I would see them both go and assist.
Oh, no. Star-Lord's ult is a random and a Guardian assist.
Right. So, and I think that's what I was triggering in my head.
Yeah, he'll have two people hit after him. And if you have Nebula on that team, you can actually have a train of 3 people follow him. And I guess technically, well, no, I don't think Miss Marvel. No one's a hero brawler. Never mind. Well, no, Gamora. So
Hebrew, actually. I would say that for that, if that's not the case, I would say that he's probably too slow for this assist to really make much of a difference. What's your take on this ability?
Yeah, so I kind of agree with that. I mean, it's a nice little perk, that's for sure. Before it was incredibly basic and didn't really do anything besides a tiny bit of damage. So anything is better than that. I think in concept it is good, and I don't have a problem with it at all. I actually really like it. And I think it adds utility to the defenders. But yeah, he's slow, so it won't make as much of an impact as some people might think.
Yeah. If I can interject, I think you guys are overlooking. We're talking about the basic, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
You think you guys are way overlooking the big value?
Offense up.
Yeah, he gives someone an offense up. They get to keep. It's not like they gain that assist and then it falls off. They keep that until their turn is over. So if he calls Iron Fist to assist, he gives him an offense up. Then going into Iron Fist next turn, maybe he's going to ult. Now he has offense up. Someone's dead.
Yeah. No.
How often do you think that's actually going to pan out, though, with how slow he is? And then it's only, what is it, a 30% chance? I just feel the frequency of that ability is going to be pretty random. It's great in concept. I 100% agree. But the effectiveness, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, it's not going to proc very much because you try to avoid using his basic as much as possible, and so much of the team now is based on like giving out extra ability energy and stuff. So ideally, if you can keep him taunting and applying defense ups and stuff, you're going to almost never basic with him. So,
Yeah.
I do
absolutely.
think though that it is a very nice passive, and I think it makes sense. But yeah, I wouldn't expect it to come around all that often. Anything that's under like 50 or like 40%, I never really count on too much. 30% is decent, but with how often he goes, just to echo everyone.
Now, just to remember though, when you
Mhm.
run him with Daredevil, he does get the speed boost.
Oh, I haven't looked into anyone kits
Yeah.
yet. Right
We'll
before
come
this,
to
so
that
yeah,
very shortly,
that will come into play then.
So what we might do, guys, just so this doesn't become a 6-hour podcast, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to run through each character with just one person at a time, and then we're going to jump in at the end and do a brief summary for everyone, and then we'll move on to the next character. So Dorian, this is your boy Cage. So let's stay with you for him, and then we'll come back with all three of us at the end. So then we come to his taunt. Okay, bring it on. So now he gains his taunt. When fully upgraded, he still gets 2 turns. I know that's a big thing for you, the 2-turn taunt. Yep. So now at max level, he will shrug off 2 negative effects from himself when he taunts. He will gain 2 regeneration, but then he'll apply regen to all defenders. What are your thoughts there, mate?
Yeah, I actually like that. When you team that up with Iron Fist's heal, I think anybody that can give regen to the entire team, it just increases survivability. And that actually plays really well with his ult.
Yeah, I completely agree. So we should move on to that ult straight away, unless there's anything you wanted to add to that taunt.
No, I mean, you know my feelings on the taunt. He's the only tank. He's the only other tank in the game that does a 2-turn taunt other than Thanos. And so, and he gets the regen when he does the taunt. So, and he clears negative effects. So his taunt, in my opinion, is better. But he loses out on a couple of things. So, yeah.
Well, let's see if he makes up for it with
speed.
Unbreakable.
Yeah. Right.
So with Unbreakable, and look, to be honest, I'm not going to lie, Dorian, I haven't had a chance to go through and look at the stat comparisons because we know that they've boosted the stats of all these characters. So I'm not sure if speed has been altered until we have a chance to go look at that, of course.
It has
so
not.
When we have, okay, that's good. All right. So when we have a look at Unbreakable, his ultimate, when it is maxed out now, he will not only gain defense up for himself for 2 turns, but he will also apply it to all other defender allies also for 2 turns. He's going to generate 1 to 2 ability energy for random allies. He's going to get death proof. What do you think about the changes there?
I think the fact that he gives defense up for 2 turns to everybody is phenomenal. I think that that his kit got improved to a point where I like it. It's very, am I going to use him probably outside of a defender's team? Not with the other tanks that are available. But I think that, when you run him with the defenders, which is typically what I had done like with JJ, I think that he makes that team survive. And because of the fact that you have JJ that gives the 4 energy, you've got him that generates ability energy to random allies. He's gonna get these skills off pretty quick. It's only a 5-turn energy for the Unbreakable. It's only 4 energy for the taunt. So I mean, he can cycle those relatively easily.
Absolutely. And then obviously there is his passive. So at level 1, it gains 5% max health per defender ally. Now, we might need some clarity on this point because I'm not sure what's the best way to read this. So at level 2, it gets an extra 5% armor. And then level 3, 4, and 5, he gains 5% max health for each of those. So with the way that reads to me, and tell me if you read it differently, guys, is that he gets 5% max health per defender ally just on the first one. And the rest of it is just a raw max health and armor increase, not per defender ally. Is that the way that you read it?
That's the way it's written.
I read it. Yeah.
It's actually the way it's written. So,
yeah.
I mean, there are periods. There are periods after that. So, I mean, he is going to get the 20% max health for running with the other defenders. Or, I'm sorry, 15. Sorry. Punisher is not a defender.
Exactly.
So he's going to get plus 15 for the defenders. Plus he's going to get another 15. Well, let's be honest. You're not dropping a T4 ability, Matt, here. He's going to get another 10. So he's going to get, 25% max health when you run him in a defender's team. That's really good because his base health was also increased in this update.
Okay.
And so my Luke Cage, just to give you a comparison, he is 7-star. He's tier 9. And he's 1 away from tier 10. He's sitting at 60k health. So if you're going to give him another 15k on top of that, that's really nice.
Absolutely. So to wrap it up, Dorian, before we open it up to the other guys for their feel of Luke Cage, how do you feel about the Power Man? Has he leveled up to the point where you feel like the hill that you've been willing to die on all this time has been worth it? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to stick with, because Khasino and I, when he first came on the podcast, was like, he's only like maybe 5% worse than the best tanks that are out there. I think that, obviously Luke Cage, when you combine him with the other defenders, it's an absolutely phenomenal tank with the other defenders. If you take him outside of that, he's still kind of under, all the other tanks in the game. I don't think he reaches their level.
Okay. All right, Hebrew, what's your feel overall of the Cage rework, mate?
So I think that his balls have finally dropped and he's no longer Power Boy. He's Power Man.
Power Man.
So, yeah, I mean, I like this. I think he's going to be exceptionally good in a Defenders team, which I did kind of want. I don't know if anyone remembers, but I like whenever teams are able to be pieced out a bit, so I can kind of team them up with one other particular person. I can bring them into another squad. But yeah, I mean, he's very good. You can still kind of do that a bit with the health, but it's not quite what I wanted. But he's going to be very, very good in a Defenders team, and that was the biggest thing for me. I just wanted him to be good, at least in that team. So yeah, overall, his utility seems great. He's in a much better place for me. The 2-turn defense up on Defenders is going to be fantastic with him. So yeah, I think that he's in a very good place as far as tanks. He's still not the best, and I wouldn't take him outside of Defenders personally.
So I guess the best way I could phrase this question when we bring you in on this one, Khasino, is you obviously have a very infamous tier list that we know that you guys put a phenomenal amount of work in. We know the devs actually reference it from time to time. Does this move Luke Cage up at all in those tier lists that you guys have prepared?
Yes and no. I think Dorian nailed it. By himself, he didn't really change very much. But with the Defenders, he is now a force to be reckoned with. So I don't believe because he didn't really have Defender synergy previously, so I think he earned himself an up arrow or a highlight, suggesting that with the right team, he is more dangerous. So he gained the potential to go up.
Okay, great. So one of those team-specific caveats on an increase on the tier list, yeah?
Yeah, we put a highlight basically saying, like, if you just throw this character on any random team, this is where they are. But if you use them properly, they perform at this level. And not everyone gets that. Not everyone can be improved with a team.
Absolutely. So any final thoughts on Cage before we move on to the next character?
No, I would like to say that I'm a little sad that we don't see any synergy between him and Iron Fist in his kit.
Oh, the team up? Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, I really kind of wanted that. I will reiterate one thing, though, that Luke does currently have the best armor of any tank in the game. So at least they've got that right. I would have liked to have seen some better resistance or some better bleed deniability or bleed denial. But I think overall that, these guys are meant to work together, and I think they accomplish that with him.
Awesome. All right, Hebrew, I'm going to give you the chance to choose your destiny. So which character would you like to talk about, mate?
I want to go for, you know what? I'm going to go for Mrs. Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones. Oh, Miss, is it? Yeah, have you got a sweet thing for her, are you offended that he's suggesting she's taken?
Nope, just staying thematically correct.
I'm jealous.
Oh, she's already mine.
Mate,
Yeah,
she's cute as hell. Absolutely. And let me check my wife's not in the next room. Yep, we're good.
What's her name in the series?
You mean
what's the actress's name?
Oh, Kristen Ritter.
Kristen Ritter.
Kristen Ritter. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about Jawbreaker, her primary. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she attacks the primary target for a specific amount of damage and then has an extra chance for a secondary attack. Now, each attack has, let me just see if it scales. So each attack has a 50% chance to generate 1 ability energy for a random ally. Now, when you upgrade that all the way up to the top, obviously she has bigger chances at hitting that second time, but she also generates 1 ability energy for a random defender ally. And then her chance to bonus attack actually increases from 1 time to 1 to 2 times. What are your thoughts, Hebrew?
So I believe that her basic didn't change as far as, not the level 7. I mean, the level 7 did change, but I think the ability other than that stayed the same. So I'm fine with that because I thought it was a great ability to begin with. Getting energy on basics is fine with me, especially whenever you have the chance to attack more than once. So definitely. That's good. And I think that this level 7 actually, I wouldn't put it as a, you have to do it. But, if you're really into the defenders, that's pretty good, especially whenever you are, is that the generate 1 ability energy for a random defender ally? I assume that that's guaranteed on top.
It appears to read that way, yeah.
Yeah, so if that is the case, then you could potentially be giving out 3. So 3 ability energy in 1 turn. I think that's good. So yeah, I'm a fan of that. Awesome. Solid ability.
4. Wait. No. Are we talking on Jawbreaker?
So she's going to hit once, 2, 3 times possibly. So there's 3, and then the guaranteed one for
and then the guaranteed.
There is the possibility.
So yeah, then that's even better. So yeah, that's even better then. So potential of 4 ability in 1 turn, that's fine with me. That's great for a basic. That's fantastic.
Okay, so Shake It Off is obviously the ability that most people are going to be looking at with Jessica Jones. So when maxed out now, she generates an incredibly massive 4 ability energy for random allies. So not just defenders, but random allies.
No, she always did that.
Yeah, I wasn't suggesting there was a change, mate. I'm just saying it's massive.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No worries at all. So she also clears all negative effects from herself, potentially huge in a debuff meta, which may come soon as Scarlet Witch comes up, and then clears 3 negative effects from all allies. So what do you think about that, Hebrew?
So yeah, that's more energy around the room. General clear with all negative effects. I think it's a incredibly good ability. Once again, it's kind of just increasing what she already had and giving a little bonus on top for defenders. So I'm a fan of that.
Now, the part that I haven't mentioned is that she also generates 1 ability energy for each defender ally.
Oh yeah, sorry. I guess I skipped ahead because I already mentioned that.
Oh no, that's earlier on, but no, that's an added addition. I mean, so that is pretty spectacular that she's not only buffing energy for everyone, but then specifically the defenders on top of that.
Yeah, so that's what I was referring to. So I like the fact that she's getting, it's basically as good as it was before, plus a little extra, especially to defenders. So yeah, I'm good with that. It seems like she was pretty good where she was before, so I wasn't expecting too many changes whenever it came to her. But I'm glad that everything is just basically what it was, but going up that's the pattern I've seen so far. It's only been 2 abilities, but yeah.
Yeah, and the next one has always been one of my favorite stats to quote, but because it sounds so ridiculous. So when we have a look at rejection, is that she obviously attacks a primary target for damage, and she's going to clear, when it's maxed out, up to 3 positive effects from the primary target, but she does so with 100,000% extra focus for that attack. In other words, bye 3 positive effects. Okay. What do you think about Jessica Jones's rejection?
So yeah, I love the name. It's really good with her general characteristics and personality. So but yeah, the ability itself, always fantastic. You're obviously never going to fail in removing those 3 positive effects, whatever they may be. So yeah, it's the most reliable clear in the game outside of hand archers on there too. But it always is the bigger problem whenever you have a tank with multiple buffs on them, and it's a guessing game with hand archer on which one you're going to remove. So with her, you're pretty much always guaranteed to most likely be removing that taunt. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I'm glad that they continued on with that, and it's just as good as before. So better.
Absolutely. And that finishes with her passive, which is Denial. So as it was previously, she gains a phenomenal amount of resistance. So even the baseline is 20% resistance for her.
Mm-hmm.
Defender allies also gain 20% resistance. And then city allies on top of that gain 10%. So that's at the base. And then as you scale up, it goes up by 5 and 10% respectively for level 2, 10% for both self and defenders for level 3. The city-wide and other allies resistant goes up by 5% on level 4. And then where it peaks is another 10% for herself and resistance for defender allies as well. So there's a lot of resistance flying around there.
Oh, yeah. So this is great. It's another reason why she's good to have on the team, especially now since it is applicable to everyone to some degree. And then they're specializing in city and especially defenders, giving them that extra bonus, so you're more inclined to piece her together with the defenders. So from what I've seen so far, the full defenders team is going to be shaping up to be an incredibly good addition to bring up in your roster, because they're going to be monsters.
So I don't know about you, but I've always found her the hardest character to land any debuffs on anyway.
Oh yeah.
To have her spread that so much more across, obviously, the whole defenders or city team is just going to be even more irritating.
Yeah, especially whenever you consider there's so many abilities now that you have to watch out for turn 1 to keep your abilities from going off that people use in the meta. So, yeah, she's a good addition for sure.
Absolutely. So, Dorian, what are your thoughts about the changes to Jessica Jones?
I think that she just got even better. The 7 ability energy that she's going to be throwing out in a defender team that's crazy. Crazy. I mean, you can wind up dropping four energy on one defender.
Yeah, I smell turn 1 Iron Fist ult constantly in that team now.
that is highly possible. But the big thing here for me was the resistance that she gained on her passive. Because what's the biggest problem people have with tanks? You can remove their buffs.
Yeah.
Well, Luke Cage, with her previously, was already one of the better resistance tanks. And now he's going to be getting another plus 65% if this is maxed out.
I knew you were going to make this about Cage again.
Well, it's always about Cage. But look, he's giving out two defense, regen, his taunt. One of the things people didn't like about him was being able to remove it.
Quick correction on that. I don't think he's going to be getting 65% because it says additional city allies.
No. So defender allies gain 30%. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So it's additional city and additional other. So, okay. Right. So he's going to be getting, 40% then?
Yeah. 40 is still,
okay. But still 40% is really, really good.
Well, bear in mind, there's that mechanic we've been talking about a lot over the last couple of weeks, which Khasino was kind enough to confirm for me because I wasn't sure, is that when he does have defense up, I mean, the resistant goes up by another 50%, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So and then, if you add that on top of what you just said, then yeah, you've got a pretty good chance of resisting for sure.
Right. I mean, he's probably going to be hitting close to 2,000 because he's at a base resistance of 1,000. So 40%, he's going to get another 400. Now, it depends on whether or not they do the 50% based off of the 1,400 or off the 1,000. So it depends on how they calculate that. So is it going to be calculated before other buffs, or is it calculating with the other buffs? So it could be
a lot of testing happening soon.
Yeah, it's going to be 1,900, or it's going to be 2,200.
Just to be devil's advocate, though, they have been working on quite a few mystics who do things like lower enemy resistance and increase team mystic controller focus. So,
that's very true. That's very true. But I like this. What we're seeing are, because when we get to other characters in Defenders, we're starting to see some team-specific meta attacks, and the Defenders are designed to attack a very specific meta.
Which meta are you talking about? Fury or
Nope.
the Mystics?
No, they're actually designed to take out the Kingpin, Crossbones, Hand Sentry meta.
I agree and disagree. I mean, the defense up is great, but I mean, obviously, there's not necessarily adding defense down out there across the board. But yeah, you kind of on the right track, I think.
Well, wait till we get to Daredevil.
Yeah, so he's going to be a big one to talk about.
So just to kind of shape the direction of this, I haven't really had a long time to sit down and look at them, so they may be like the perfect answer to the current meta. But from what I can gather and from what the devs have said, I think their aim as a team has been to be like the de facto sustain raid team all in one, because Jessica is going to be funneling energy to a character that can heal all of them, a character who defends them all up for 2 turns and gives out regen. They've all got resistance, so I think that they're a raid team above all.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, especially when we get into Iron Fist, what he really does now.
Yeah, which we will get to very soon. So Khasino, same question as before. Does she move on your tier lists?
I'm not really sure. And it's too early. Like that's not a solo call I make, because I go into it thinking like, oh yeah, God for sure, and then I listen to the counter arguments, and then oh yeah, that's a fair point. So I believe we already had her at demigod, and I don't think that this extra resistance and energy just for the defenders takes her quite up to God. But it certainly could. But I mean, she was already very good, so they didn't have to change her much, and therefore I don't think they did too much, but we'll see.
Yeah. Now, since you are our guest on this particular episode, Khasino, I think it's only fair that you choose the next character we break down. So who would you like, mate?
Well, I believe it sounded... One sec. Tons of people over. Girlfriend has the door wide open. Anyway, I believe someone wanted Iron Fist. Like, I don't want to poach... Did someone want Iron Fist, or did someone want Daredevil?
I don't think anyone wanted it in particular.
All yours if you want the pillow fist, buddy.
Let's go Pillow Fist.
Awesome. Well, there's the first question. Do you think we can actually keep calling him that now?
No.
All right. So let's talk about Iron Fist's first ability. It is called Martial Arts. So he will attack a primary target for damage and then chain that through to an additional 1 to 2 targets. Oh, no, it is actually 2 adjacent targets once you max it all the way out. So it doesn't seem like insanely high damage. What do you think about the basic, Khasino?
It's not bad. Yeah, you're right that it's not it doesn't seem to be a ton of damage. I haven't looked at his base stats yet, but I think actually his damage is going to be okay. But the fact that it chains to that many characters is always significant. So
yeah,
it's not
so
bad.
1 to 2 adjacent's not bad. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so probably more excitingly though is the huge changes that he had to Inner Peace. So previously it was a relatively poor self-heal only, didn't really do a great deal of things. So now it will basically heal himself for quite a reasonable amount of health. It will also clear all negative effects from Iron Fist. He will gain speed bar to the tune of 30%. Now, as you level that up, he will then also heal other defenders for what looks like about 3,500 heals, which is not bad at all.
If I'm reading it, I believe it's add 1,000, and then you add 1,500, and then you add 2,500. I think we're looking at 5,000.
Right. So it's just under 5K. Yep, exactly. And then for himself, he gains an extra 2.5 at level 6, right?
I'm not looking. Oh, it's heal self and all defender. So that level 6 is I believe that's
a bit misleading because level 5 says healing for self and defender allies, but that bottom one says just plus 2,500 healing.
So so if you look at the level 3, it says plus 600 healing, and that's clearly not separate from everyone. The reason the level 5 is changed is because it adds then heal most injured city hero ally for 2,500.
Which is fantastic. That's what I was going to finish with because that's strong.
So he's going to heal everyone for 5K, and then the most injured city hero, which could be wait, is Punisher a hero or a villain? Hero?
He's a hero.
Yeah.
He's a city hero.
So it would also cover Punisher. Oh, I forgot. I could have picked him. But anyway, yeah, so it'll heal him as well. And then adds another 10% of his max health. So he's healing them for 20% of his max plus 5K, which is pretty significant. And then removes negative effects, gains speed. Yeah, it's just awesome.
Yeah. It seems fantastic in that squad. Absolutely. Do you think in just a plain old city team that's still good?
Not as much, because that his heal is like his big heal is for self and defender allies. So he's literally just healing a most injured city hero for 2,500 health, which is not a lot.
Yeah. All right, now let's talk to the actual Iron Fist, formerly the Pillow Fist. So here's the question. Did it actually get better? So when you have it at the start, he's going to do plus 400% damage on this ability and then gain offense down. However, when you level that up to maximum, it is going to do 400, 500, 600% damage to the primary target. It is going to clear 3 positive effects from that target. You're going to start at 3 ability energy, not just 2. And there's a 40% chance less that he will gain offense down after he has finished that ability. Now, I haven't seen how much his base stats got boosted, but in concept, Khasino, how much better do you think this is?
I think if you didn't already have a title for this episode, you have to call it The Death of Pillow Fist.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I don't think they named this one previously. That might be
I like that
elsewhere,
one.
but it's not bad at all. So yeah, this sounds pretty great. I mean, what did they actually buff his base stats? Let me have a quick
They
look.
didn't. His damage did not get buffed.
Seriously?
Yeah, he's still maxed out at. Now, this is according to StrikeForceLab.com. His max damage is going to be the same as Jessica, which is around 6,000.
If you're on Strike Force Lab, they have not updated in quite some time.
Okay, but they haven't updated his stats. So, and I wanted the unupdated because MSFGG getting the stats on that one's a little bit more because I wanted to do a comparison
It is,
among
but
the whole team.
you can just look if they have the newest kits.
Well, I know neither one of these currently have the newest kits.
Then you can't see the actual max damage stats.
So
anyway.
if you have a look on the web announcement for that blog update they posted a few hours ago, for the base stats, I think Dorian might be right. It says the only thing that they changed on him was increased health under the base stat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm quite surprised by that. Yeah.
So according to MSFGG, if he is maxed out 7-star 6512, he's sitting right around 6,081 damage. So they kind of agree it's right around that 6,000. So he's going to hit for 36k maxed out.
And that's if he doesn't have an offense up, which he could have.
Yes.
But either way, so fun fact on this, because a lot of people did not know this. There are 2 abilities in the game that cannot be blocked, period. And that is Winter Soldier's Punch and Iron Fist's Punch. This is actually excellent into Captain America, into Merc Riot Guard, into Shield Security. All of those guys who like to block a lot. There is no blocking this. You get punched.
That explains a lot,
very interesting.
actually.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Okay, tremendous.
Yeah,
All right, so moving on.
That doesn't count if he crits too.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be hit for what? If he crits, 50k?
Oh man, could you imagine?
Crit is 130% of base. So if it was 36, close to 50.
Yeah.
Well, I guess time will tell. I haven't seen one yet in action because mine is so low, but we will see. Now, this one is an interesting one for his passive, though. The Son of Kunlun, or however you say it.
Well, that's his ult.
What's that, sorry?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm sorry. I'm out of it.
That's okay. So this is the part that I'm confused by, Khasino. Tell me what I'm missing. On spawn, heal self and defender allies. On turn, this is the base level I'm reading first. He has a 20% chance to heal self and gain 5% damage for each defender ally. So the damage boost across the board is great. The on-turn chance to self-heal, that's a very shield medic mechanic we've seen before. That's all good. But why on-spawn heal self? Is this alluding to a game mode where you can drop people in tiered waves or something?
No, what?
Raid.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So basically when you start up, okay, that's pretty great. That's why I'm an idiot. Wow, that's not bad at all. That is not, all right. You said raid before. This is making even more sense now for a raid team. That's huge. So not only that, obviously as you level him up, the chance to heal himself and those specified allies increases. So on level 2, it increases by 10% for the heal value. On 3, it's an extra 10% chance. On level 4, increase the current healing on spawn and on turn to additional city heroes. Okay, so not just the defenders. And then for level 5, it's an extra 10% chance to self-heal, and then obviously an extra 10% healing value. What do you think about that, Khasino?
I think it's fantastic. And the fact that at level 5, it goes up the 10% healing. Oh, that's the on turn. Okay. I was going to say if the on spawn goes up. but still getting it back a fifth of everyone's health on spawn. That's just fantastic for Raid. He's in an interesting spot because he is clearly the healer for the defender team. He just happens to have a giant, a giant unblockable punch, otherwise a healer. He's like the weirdest pacifist.
Yeah, exactly. He just gets real mad. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to participate in this. I'm just going to look after you guys. And then, boom!
Right, I'm sick of healing that guy's damage. 1 second.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I still think it's a missed opportunity not to call it a super mega dick punch, but, you know, what are you going to do?
I can't believe, I believe that was the working title. I can't believe it didn't make it in.
I know.
It was a placeholder.
I see. That old chestnut. So, final thoughts, Khasino. Do you think this changes him on your tier list outside of a Defenders or City Heroes team?
Absolutely. Although looking at him, it doesn't appear, if you're not putting him on a Defender or City Hero, he's going to have much better sustain from himself. He's definitely going up a tier, but I don't know if they didn't change his damage or anything. They made him tankier. His punch is actually worth using. His heal, I guess, I mean, it doesn't, if you need the heal, it's worth healing himself, but it's like 30% of the speed bar. I would say he's still not exceptional. Like, he's definitely better, but he's not exceptional outside of a Defender team, but he is just insanely good on a Defender team. And so we've known for a bit now that we've had to bring in what I'm calling the double arrow. Starting with the next tier list, you're going to see characters that with the right team jump up 2 whole
2 points.
Tiers. I suspect Iron Fist will be in that group.
So to put that in perspective about that on-turn heal as well, we actually have Avenue Assassin in our Discord right now, Khasino, who's saying that he got a 30% bump in his health. So now he's in a 90k base. So that heal on passive is going to be pretty nice when it procs.
Yep, still super misleading that he's a martial artist and the main thing he does is absorb punches to the face well and heal people. But
exactly.
You know,
so
not my idea for his lore.
Hebrew, where does Iron Fist sit with you now?
So I was going to say that same thing, actually, because I think it's a little odd that thematically he's supposed to be, as Khasino said, a martial artist, and instead he's kind of in a healing position for the most part.
While you're saying this, I can feel Dorian wanting to say that he wants to point out that Mordo is a martial artist as well.
Yeah, but I mean, he was always, like, first and foremost, I think he was always just like a sorcerer, right?
No.
Yeah. No?
Well, it depends where you go, but yeah, let's not get too off topic. But I know that Dorian was very passionate about that point last week. Yeah.
Well, see, maybe they took that more from the MCU instead, because in the MCU, you see them all have like an obvious, background in martial arts, but it's far more heavily weighed on the sorcery part of it. So, but anyways, for this, it doesn't make sense in any way. I don't think, for him thematically. So. Yeah, I wish that his damage, I mean, either way, far better than what he was, for sure. And he's going to be a really good healer, guys. So for Defenders exclusively. I wouldn't really, run him too much outside of Defenders. Once again, it seems like so far from everything I've seen, outside of Jessica Jones for particular niche groups, I would pretty much stick them all together. I haven't seen anyone that I'd really take out too much. But in a Defenders group, this is shaping up to be an incredibly good monster team. And those heals for raids on top of, obviously he's the main bit of heals, but on top of the little bonus from Cage, I think that'll be pretty nice synergy. And, with his ult, it is in a better position now. So, yeah, overall, I like it. I wish that there was a little more on the damage end than the healing end, but maybe that's kind of what they needed, someone to fill that healing space within the team. I don't know why they wouldn't have just kind of made a little bit of synergy with Night Nurse and had that spot filled there. But
he's definitely the defender healer that we needed, but not the villain's healer that we deserved.
Exactly. Well put.
Yeah. So Dorian, what do you think about the Pillow Fist no more?
Yeah, so I think he's become completely amazing, because the reason why I say that is that inner piece heal is only a 3 ability mat, or a 3 ability energy.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So that's going to go off like crazy. So he's going to, I mean, like Khasino said, this is a sustained raid team. That's kind of what they're designed to do. And even if you use them in like blitz or even arena, that constant heal and the ability to get that off like that while building up that ult is going to be crazy. He's going to keep them alive. And if you can't touch him because you're having to focus down Cage with the 2 taunts, then I mean, it just makes him that much crazier. I really love everything I've seen so far with the defenders.
Fantastic. So we'll stay with you, Dorian, looping back around to the start again. Do you want the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, or do you want the one-man army?
Considering Daredevil's probably one of my favorite Marvel of all time, let's go with the Devil of Hell's Kitchen.
Fantastic. Okay. So obviously he attacks his primary target, and then he also has a chance for a second bonus attack. But here's the thing. So if that target is a villain, the chance to bonus attack increases, okay? So it goes up by, what are we saying here? Level 5, it goes up to around 80%. And then when you max it, I think it's at about 90%. Tell me if I'm wrong. But in other words, it sounds like he's going to definitely hit once. And then if that target is a villain, almost guaranteed he's going to hit him a second time. What do you think about that?
I love it. So before this was hand only. It only affected if it was hand. Now it's going to do it on any villain. Oh man, if they bring back El Scorcho with the City Hero node, this is gonna crush that.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty great. And even that hand node that rocks up in Ultimate 6 just after the Red Skull node, I think this is gonna be pretty great for that. Actually, most of Daredevil's kit is gonna be pretty great for that.
Yeah, especially considering that. I mean, the damage is good. I mean, it's not great. You're looking at what, 270 on the primary, and then 200 on the bonus. So, I mean, he's going to hit really nice.
Yeah. And then that moves into throw baton. So the three of us last week, when we were talking about what we'd love to see with these characters, I think all of us agreed that throw baton was the ability we wanted to see change the most, which it definitely has. So he's still going to throw his baton. The damage still looks like it's reasonably low. So we didn't necessarily get that spike that we were hoping for. However, what he does do now is he will apply 2 counter to himself and all defender allies. It will also chain to a guaranteed 1 to 2 targets when you have it maxed out. So we asked for a change. What do you think about the one we got?
I'll be honest. I probably would have liked seeing the damage increase a bit. However, the counter is amazing. Because you're gonna get Iron Fist going off, you're gonna get Jessica going off, and correct me if I'm wrong, but even on counter, she will generate the ability. So that's potential extra ability.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Say again.
So Jessica, if Jessica counters with her basic, she still generates the ability energy, right?
I don't believe so. And again, that may have been changed, but that is actually something I can check here for us. I think we looked this up once, and all basics that generate ability energy do not do that on their counters and assists. I believe that was the verdict. So I'm just double checking. I have it literally right here.
Also, since you already have that up, I'm not sure if this would. I guess you probably wouldn't have this yet, but I would be interested to know if Luke Cage's basic will have the chance to apply offense up as well for defenders.
So for that, it would have to call the assist, and like I said, I don't have the newest.
Oh, that's
code.
Right.
But I've never seen an assist call an assist, and so
you're right.
her counter and assist previously did not. I don't think they ever have. I don't think counters and assists have ever carried over. Like sometimes they carry over, like applying an offense down or a defense down or an offense up.
Right.
Like sometimes, but none of them thus far have ever carried over granting ability energy. Like all the Kree do ability energy on their basic, none of their assists or counters do.
Okay. So just to go back, you were asking that we hope we would see that ability go up in damage, Dorian. So we didn't see much of a damage increase there, and Daredevil didn't get an increase to his base attack stats either, only health and armor. So it looks like that'll hit for a similar value. But where you may have a win for a damage spike is on his ultimate, which is Brawl. which I always used to fear in high-end blitz anyway. I've had him one-shot characters before, but now it will chain at max level to 3 to 4 adjacent targets.
Yeah, I thought they said that it'll always do 4 now.
So it says chain to 3 to 4. So I guess technically you are going to hit 4 no matter what, all right? Because you're hitting the main guy and then 3. So if you get it proc to 4 adjacent targets, that means you hit everyone.
Yeah, okay. I guess when I read this, when I read the ability, it says chain 3 to 4, and in the dev patch notes it says will chain to 4. So
I can clarify this language. So anytime it says like between X amount and Y amount, if it's not explicitly a percent chance stated, it's a 50% chance. So this is, as was originally said by, I believe, Chuberger, hit the first target, always chain to 3 more, 50% chance to chain to a 4th additional, making 5 total. Which in a 5v5 is everybody.
Which makes sense. The patch notes are written for this one specifically is a little weird.
They consider the chain starting beyond the primary, I believe.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, the fact that it's gonna always hit the first one and then chain guaranteed to 3 more, that's really nice. It was always disappointing to watch that hit the first guy and then watch him bounce back.
Yeah. So I think this is a good little bump there. And that leads into his passive. So he is now the Black Widow of the Defender squad. So on himself and Defender allies, they will gain plus 5% speed. And that comes with the rewording, just like Widow, that they will be applied after any character has taken their action. Now, as you level that up, he will also gain 5% dodge chance, and then also get an extra 5% dodge chance per Defender ally. Khasino, is this one of those ones where he will count as a Defender ally, or he'll only be the 15%?
I would have to look in the code for that. That specific wording is one that has always been highly inconsistent. Literally, some characters, they count themselves, others they don't. My guess is because it says 5% dodge chance, in addition to 5% dodge chance per Defender ally, he is probably not counting himself.
See, I don't know, because in a couple of the kits, doesn't it say other Defender allies?
Yep. Again, I would assume so it literally comes down to just there's a flag that they put on him, I believe, which it's something self true or something self false, and there's zero logic to who has it flagged true and who has it flagged false. So
yeah.
I'm guessing no, but I have to look it up.
Yep. So then as you level it up further, he will also gain an additional 10% damage to himself passively. And then his level 5 ult is very similar to Black Widow's, but only specifically for Defender. So we'll add that extra 5% speed for himself and the Defender allies. And that's obviously after any character has taken an action. So what is your thoughts to wrap up Daredevil, Dorian?
I think it's nice because it gives them a decent little speed boost, which was one thing that we had all kind of said at least a couple of these guys needed. I like the fact that he now gets that like 20% chance base to dodge, or 15%, sorry. So that kind of makes him almost like a minor vision as well, or Spider-Man. So that's I don't know. I think Daredevil has kind of really come into what he should have been. That he can avoid. He's got a chance to avoid attacks. He kind of motivates his people to do better. I like it overall. I think that he's doing a great job here.
Fantastic. And Hebrew, where do you sit on the Devil of Hell's Kitchen?
I am super excited about this one. Daredevil is just kind of a monster at top tier as far as damage is concerned. I'm always afraid whenever he's on the battlefield on if I'm going to get one shot. Like, it just happens sometimes and you're just like, Jesus, where did that damage come from? So yeah, now him being he's going to be a pain to go against in a Defenders team, that's for sure. I never want to go against a Defenders team, by the way. But but that's the thing about them, though, is that with him being put in there and that you get that extra speed, it's just going to be, and especially with him having dodge too, because he's going to be one of the biggest priorities, or an increased chance of dodge. He's going to be one of the biggest priorities that you want to take out. And with that dodge plus potentially getting taunted off with Cage, and him having the extra speed to do it more often, it's going to be tough, especially with oh my god, I almost said Lee Sin, with Iron Fist healing him in between. So it's going to be really hard to get to some of these damage dealers. So yeah, I think that he's in a good place. I really like where the team is at overall. I'm glad that mine is kind of like mid-leveled, because I'm actually going to potentially rush them up because they're very good. And especially with Punisher coming in. I haven't looked him over, but he would be a very good addition to this team.
Don't worry, you and I are going to talk about him in just a moment, mate. So
yeah, and
be excited.
Yep. To follow up on what Hebrew said about the trying to get to these guys and not being able to, they buffed his health and armor, so he's going to be he's going to be that much more potent.
Yeah, and especially obviously with the extra resistance from oh gosh, why am I blanking on
JJ?
Jessica Jones. Thank you very much. With the extra resistance from Jessica Jones, it's going to be hard to make things stick on him. So yeah, it's just all around. It's going to be a really tough team to go against. I think it's a really solid team that you want to take into raids. I think you can do it very effectively. It's just basically going to be a walking tank with good damage. So
absolutely, yep,
yeah.
And Khasino, I mean, I know obviously you got to go away and do the chat with Soundless and those guys, but what did your gut tell you about tier list for Daredevil outside of a Defenders team?
Again, I'm not seeing a huge jump up. Again, like a lot of this is tied to the Defender team, so he might get the green highlight here, but I don't see a massive change to him. Making him tankier is good, but still his primary function is just to hurt people mainly. So yeah, I'm looking, maybe there's some potential on like a Miss Marvel team with the bonus attack against villain. So he'll get a primary attack, a high likelihood of a bonus attack, and then a Miss Marvel assist because he's a hero brawler. And I do like, this is kind of a side note, but I do love that the Defender team is really a 4-piece team. Sorry, yeah, you can hear.
That's okay.
I'm like trying so hard.
It's all right. Don't worry
I'm
about it.
waiting for someone in the background to yell out, beer pong!
Yeah, I think my girlfriend is mad at me and isn't telling me. I think she's like just on the other side of the wall, like, all right, is he talking? And then she opens the door.
Yep.
But I like that the Defender team is essentially like a 4-piece team. And you don't like, although Punisher's like the unofficial 5th, they really leave a good spot for like, find the right 5th for this team and you can make some magic happen. So I like that. And I do love that Hebrew Hammer is going to be running the Defender version of the team that features Lee Sin and what's her name?
Yep, Lee Sin and what's her name coming in.
No, and I totally get why you call him Lee Sin, by the way. Like, I think I'm going to call him that from now on.
But yeah, I think that one thing I didn't mention that I really wanted to touch on again was those counters. I think that's huge. I think that's fantastic. So especially if oh no, we already said that she doesn't give off ability energy most likely.
Yeah. So the question I did have about JJ though, does she do the multiple hits on her offense though? Like if she gets called in on assists, can she hit 3 times?
No assists ever do multi-hits that I've seen either.
Okay. Yeah. The reason I was going to raise that up just now as well is that one thing we didn't mention with JJ is she actually did get a damage boost. So her health, damage, and armor all went up.
Nice. She already hit really hard.
But so tell me about it.
Well, wait till we talk about the Punisher.
Oh man, yeah,
it's just going to get worse.
This is what I've been looking forward to. I'm kind of glad you guys left until last, just from random chance. So let's go straight into it. Hebrew, this is going to be your chance to talk about our boy.
Oh yeah.
So the Punisher. Okay, so he's not a defender. For those of you that aren't aware, so a lot of those passive bonuses he won't get, except for the ones that specifically mention a city hero. So just so you're aware, his base stats, he has now increased health, armor, and the one we wanted to hear, which is damage. All right, so I don't know the specific percentage change. If there's someone in our Discord that wants to look that up right now, that'd be fantastic. But if not, let's talk about his first ability, which is the M4 Carbine. So very similar to what he was doing previously. So if he attacks a primary target now, when you max that out, it's going to be doing 20% piercing damage, and it is going to have a 30% chance to chain up to 2 additional targets, which will also have 20% piercing on that damage. So he will dance around a few characters, very similar to the way he did previously, but now up to 2. What are your thoughts on that one?
Good. I kind of just expected all of this. So yeah, it's basically what I wanted to see, especially with his increased damage added on, because he just didn't hit as hard as he should have, especially having the name the Punisher. I expect my enemies to feel punished whenever I'm done attacking.
Yeah.
So,
and up until now, he was no utility either. He was just raw damage. The damage was weak. He wasn't really bringing anything else except a passive that was very specific. Right?
Yeah. His only real use, at least to me, was his passive, and then his ult. You know, his ult was nice. It was a spray and pray kind of move. But yeah, I mean, especially for teams with hand sentry, you know, it was nice to go ahead and take out, in some cases, it was nice to go ahead and take out everyone's dodge. You know what I mean? If you got a big AoE coming up or something. So
absolutely. Just get rid of evade,
Exactly. So yeah, I think overall, you know, just solid increase. That's what I expected, and I'm glad they did it.
Okay, so Avenue Assassin has done some quick maths, and he's saying that it will go up by 10% health, 10% damage, 10% armor. His focus and resistance, though, seems to have decreased by 10%, but we know he makes up for that elsewhere in a City Heroes team with the defenders.
It seems like that's the thing, is that they kind of put everyone in a good place on their own, but what they lack on their own, they gain in the group. So I kind of like that the team fills out their weaknesses. I feel like it's good for just basically team dynamics, but yeah, it also it feels right. It feels good.
Absolutely. Okay, so Grenade Launcher was his middle ability, which still sounds almost the same as it was. It doesn't feel like it's changed too much other than some slightly increased damage. So it will attack the primary target with 10% piercing and all adjacent enemies for 10% piercing as well. So it sounds very similar to the way it was, Hebrew.
Yeah. For this one, I wanted it to do, well, I guess it will be doing a little bit of damage, but I wanted it to do a little more, or them to replace it with just a more unique ability. This is kind of meh for me overall.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much his special and his ultimate, which we're going to talk about now, all of those abilities had some slightly increased damage, pretty much. But it's more than that once we get to his passive. So for his ultimate, it's exactly the same as what it was, but a little bit more damage, that he's going to shoot everyone with 20% piercing damage. Okay?
Yeah.
So moving on to, I guess, the more exciting part of his kit right now, which is probably the biggest rework of all of the passives, I think.
Yeah. This is a monster. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, it's insane.
So let's start off with the level 3 before we go into the level 4 and 5, because that's where probably a lot of people may be right now. So he's going to gain 30% damage against villains, which is massive right off the bat. Right? For some of those raid nodes, it's going to be
especially whenever you come in and spray your ult. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Now, city allies are going to gain 5% damage, but more specifically, city heroes are going to get 10% damage on top of that instead. Now, that's not versus villain yet. That's just flat. When you apply city hero allies, gain an additional 30% damage against villain targets. That is massive against villain targets.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's specific. It's not universally good, but oh my God, this sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things that I want to do with this. So I think that is fantastic, and it really works with his thematics, I think. So yeah, I really like this, and I think that it puts him in an incredibly good, yet kind of niche spot. So yeah, I actually am a big fan of it. So far, I'm a big fan of it. And of course, you're going to have that great synergy with the defenders, for sure.
And not just the defenders, my friend, but more specifically Daredevil. So I'm going to break this up into 2 different parts, okay? Just because level 4 is obviously where most people are going to take him. And then level 5 is your T4. So what happens when you max it with the purple ability, Mats, is that if Daredevil is an ally, when an enemy attacks him, attack that enemy for 160% damage and additional 10% piercing. And that is a 20% damage against villain targets. So an extra 20% damage against villains on top of that stacking. So in other words, don't hit Daredevil if he is floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
This is a very shield trooper type mechanic without having to worry about an adjacent ally, I suppose.
Yeah, that is what is this last part here? Or you want to go out over the next part afterwards?
I'll do the T4 separately, just because obviously,
man, they really went to town on this passive. Holy cow!
Yeah, they did.
Not wrong.
I actually really like how they did it too, because it's not just a straight up you gain this and then it increases. Like you finally have some stuff where it's like, oh wow, this is intricate. Like you can really build strategy behind it. And it also does what I mentioned earlier, which is kind of you're able to piece some people out into other teams. So I like this, and it's also even more interesting. Sorry, I keep like rambling on about how interesting this is, but it's also even cooler because I almost kind of like how he's not a part of the group, but in a way he is. He's pieced together with someone who is. So that's interesting to me, and I like them kind of doing that. So that ability itself, though, that extra ability on top is fantastic. I mean, I am so scared of a full Defenders of the Punisher team right now. It is crazy.
You want to counter heroes with heroes. That is 100% for sure. You don't want to take in a hand team against them right now.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, there's so much more risk involved in this, because I mean, a lot of times you have pieced together teams that go with heroes or villains. It really doesn't matter. Whenever you see a Punisher, you are really going to have to decide if you want to go against him. So yeah, I really like this. This is just honestly, like, his passive I like more than anything I've seen so far from the rework.
So I'm the same, but this is the part that I love the most, because this ties into, I'm sure Dorian will agree here, this last thing is something that's more like a Zeta ability from Galaxy of Heroes, that the change that this makes when you go all the way to the T4 ability mats, it changes him quite a bit, like in a very cool way, but it is on proc, so it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's still pretty good. So here it is. What he gains when you go all the way up is he's going to hit anyone that hits Daredevil for an additional 200% up from 160%. So an extra 40% damage. That's great. Not the best thing in the world, but still great, especially if you're up against an AoE team. But here's where it changes. The Punisher will gain a chance to assist on non-attack abilities if at least one ally is a city hero. Chance to assist on non-attack abilities. This is out of order. That's why it reads strange. Let me go down to the bottom. So he has a chance to assist on non-attack abilities per defender. Ally increases that chance by 10%.
Yeah, he actually gained that at 3.
Oh, he gained that at 3, did he?
Yeah. So at level 3, he gains a chance to assist on non-attack abilities if allies include city hero or defender.
Yep. What's the base percentage? I can't see that.
The base percentage is 10%.
So he's at 10, and then plus another 10 on top of that for each defender. So it can go.
Oh my god!
So it can
it's
go
50%.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's gonna happen a lot. He's gonna be shooting constantly.
And then I think it can go up more with the level 5.
No, that is.
Well, no, think about it.
Level 5.
It's base 10, and then it goes up 10% for each defender.
So that's 50% chance every time.
No, it's 10% per defender, so that's 50. And then at level 5, chance to assist on non-attack increases by 10%.
There's only 4 defenders though.
Right,
but it's a base 10.
But he has base 10 plus 40, and then the level 5 adds 10 more.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Wow.
No, it starts at 40, so it goes to 90 total, I believe, or 80.
Yeah, it gets really ridiculous because the chance to assist on non-attack per defender ally goes up and up and up. So he pretty much becomes, if my math is right, that's 20% per defender ally. That's 80, and then it becomes 100. It's
nuts.
It becomes 100%, but it's only on non-attack. So it's on Luke Cage's defense up or taunt, JJ's shrug off, Iron Fist heal, and that's it. Everything Daredevil does damage. So it's on
any passive while you're doing something else, like getting that damage off, like a free attack every time. That's going to stack pretty rapidly.
Yep, but think about it. So yeah, I mean, so that's 2 JJ or 1 JJ, 2 Luke Cage, and 1. I mean, that's 4 abilities, and those are the ones you're going to be wanting to run from those guys
early. Yeah.
And I think it's 90% from reading it. It's a 90% chance. It's never 100.
I think it is 100 because it says if at least one ally is a city hero, it goes up 10. That puts the base at 20, and then the chance per defender goes up to 20, and there's 4 defenders, which is 80.
No. It's 10 per defender, so that's 40.
But
plus another 40. Plus
That's
10.
80. But he has the base 10, and so if you read that level 5 passive, it adds 10% to City Hero
Where
base.
are you getting the base 10?
He at level 3 he has base 10.
No, it says gain chance to assist, and it's plus 10.
Oh, yeah.
You're thinking the plus 10% damage, maybe?
No. I believe I'm reading this correctly. Am I going crazy?
10,
All right,
I'm
at
looking
level
at this.
3. At level 3, he has 10% base and 10% per defender. At level 5, he gains 10% more base.
Okay, so it's the 10% City Hero.
Right. That's his base.
So if it's a 10% City Hero plus 40, so it's base 50 on a defender team. Then he gets another 50 at level 5. So you're absolutely right. It is 100.
Okay.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Hebrew, where does this guy sit for you?
He sits really well. I actually really like him because it takes all of the, whenever you have those characters that are utility and they don't attack because they have to do some kind of action to help your team, it's basically filling in that with damage as well. Or at least an incredibly high chance, or no, 100%. That's right. We landed on 100%. So yeah, 100% chance of filling that with damage as well. So I think that, I honestly think that they might have just become my favorite team altogether.
Cool.
So yeah, I can't wait to try that out.
And now, Dorian, after hearing that, do you want to change teams from Team Cage to Team Punisher?
No. But I think, because I think if you work Punisher with Cage, it's even better.
Yeah. Very good. And any final thoughts from you on this character, Dorian?
No, I think that it's absolutely amazing.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I want to mess with this so bad with a Miss Marvel and a Spider-Man as well, just to play around some different combos. I think there's a lot of really cool things you could do with this rework on him and Daredevil combined, throwing them in a City Heroes team. There's some potential. But Khasino, by himself or paired up with just Daredevil, do you think those two might get some green arrows on the tier list?
Definitely the room. I mean, having that 100% chance to jump in, I'm thinking he's getting highlights, getting green arrows. But unpopular opinion here, I'm still not that impressed with Punisher. He's much better. I see the value. I'm not. He's not complete and total, utter useless, bad. But I'm not that impressed with what I see. At the end of the day, his base damages on his abilities are still mediocre. His ult is still mediocre. His middle ability is still you don't really want to use it at all. His whole kit now comes down to his passive, and while it is not a bad passive by any stretch, I think I might be replacing his spot on that team to really top him up. I'm just thinking give me a Merc Lieutenant for speed and offense up.
But they increased his health, his damage, and his armor.
Yeah,
I mean, if with his damage increase, that him in a defender's team, if he's going, look, Iron Fist is going to do that heal a lot. It's only a 3 ability.
He doesn't get it. He's not a defender.
What do you mean? Iron Fist is,
but Punisher isn't.
No. But he's going to assist.
Yeah, probably on the full defender team. Yeah.
Right. So he's going to assist when Iron Fist does his heal. You're right. He's not getting the heal. That sucks for him.
But the thing of it is, he's covering their turn, basically.
Right.
It's not bad, but you can just have someone who, on all of their own turns, is doing more impactful stuff. I think his value lies a lot more in what he'll do to villains. But I mean, it remains to be tested. It might be proccing more than I think, but as you put it, there's every once in a while, so he'll pepper in a little 200% damage with no piercing.
That's not little. Avenue in chat at max level, he's 8,400 damage.
That's not that much.
That's 1,700 damage. That's 1,700 on if Iron Fist
wait.
He's attacking somebody for 1,700 damage.
Oh, his base damage went up to 8,400? I thought you meant that was the total damage.
No, his base damage is 8,400.
It went up 10%.
That's not too bad.
No, that's almost 1,700 per assist.
More.
And that's if he doesn't crit.
Is it more in a villain?
I'm sorry, 17,000. I meant 1,000, not 100.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, I think that all of the value really comes from his passive more than any of his other abilities. But yeah, I think that regardless, he's going to be having really cool synergy with the team. And obviously, definitely the biggest value out of any of it lies in the against villains part of it.
I'm going against the grain here. Put Merc Lieutenant in his spot. Give everyone offense up. They'll all do more damage. It'll be worth it.
Yeah,
but
but
if you want to sustain, throw in a Miss Marvel.
No.
Yeah, but the
Merc
thing
Lieutenant
is, they're going to do a little bit more.
True.
They're going to do that more damage, but you're not going to get, Iron Fist is not going to be doing 17k damage when he heals. Luke Cage is not going to be doing 17k damage when he throws up his taunt or his defense. Jessica, when she throws out energy, is not going to be doing 17k damage. I mean, that's a lot of their utility and a lot of what you're using them for.
Yeah, I'll have to see how much better it works out. I could be wrong. I'm interested to see it. I'm not 100% on this yet, but I don't know. I feel like of all the people that might, if you had like a really good character, like I wish I had 6 people on this team, I'm thinking it's his spot they'd get, but maybe not. Maybe they're too solid to break up.
And by the way, Iron Fist will heal him at level 4.
Just
as
as
much
a city
as the
hero
others,
for 2,500. That's
no, he does 2,500 plus 10% of the character's max health.
To anyone?
If he's the lowest.
Well, because he's the lowest city hero.
Yeah,
he
if
does
he's the
10%
lowest.
max health to lowest city hero. Hold on, I misread that then. Is that what
Yeah,
that does?
it's 2,500 plus 10% of his character's max health to the most injured city hero.
That reads weird. So I read that on mine. That's a separate line. I read that as the upper part of it is going up plus 10%, but if that is attached to the lower part of it, that is a much bigger deal than I thought.
Yeah, I think that's attached to the lower part because there's that plus after the word health.
I think you might be right.
Well, that's something obviously we can test over the next couple of weeks. So to wrap up this incredibly long, completely unplanned segment, but obviously we only had it sprung on us just beforehand. Yes or no answers, guys. Hebrew, are you going to change your current farm to shift to defenders?
I think I'm gonna split it up like half and half between my current mutant farm, between my mutants at least for gearing them up, and the other half of my resources are going to be going to finish gearing up the defenders, I think.
And Dorian?
Right now I've been focusing on gearing that arena team. I might focus on them a little bit. The 2 that are lowest for me are Punisher and Iron Fist. And they're only sitting right around 10, 11k power. I have a feeling that I might work on them a bit.
And Khasino, I know you and I have been both going hard on the Fury gearing. Are you going to divert at all away from that, or are you going to keep playing with Fury?
Pardon the humble brag, but my Fury Shield team is doing pretty good. Up to the point now where I'd be investing like an entire week to get one more item on one of those guys. Yeah. So I'm now switched into like passively gearing them because they're up over like 120k. So I will be definitely putting some resources into the defenders, partially because I'm a content creator and people are going to want to see them in action and I can get them there quicker than most. Partially because I have not been using a lot of those characters on a meaningful blitz team for quite some time. And I believe that with a very small amount of work, I have a full nother blitz team, if nothing else. So yeah, I will be farming them.
Fantastic. Yeah, we'll definitely have to have a dicks on the table moment for our Fury teams at some stage the next week.
Sounds good.
Looking forward to it. All right, very good. So look, first of all, thanks to everyone that's made it this far through the podcast. We actually had this planned out to get significantly under 2 hours today. And then we had this massive news bomb from everywhere. And of course, we've been blessed with Khasino, and he's added some great content to this episode as well. So moving on to one of our favorite segments of the week, and I'm going to hand over the hosting of this part to Dorian, and this is our weekly character spotlight. So Dorian, who are we looking at this week?
Well, this week we're going to go with our favorite mystic controller, Loki. So Loki is the son of Queen Farbuti and King Laufey, leader of the giants of Jotunheim. He was born small and was an embarrassment to his parents and was segregated from the other giant. Using magics, the future Loki came to Jotunheim's past, tricking Bor, who is Odin's father, and turned him to snow. As Bor withered, he begged Odin to help him, but Odin ignored him. Loki then haunted Odin in the guise of Bor's ghost. Years passed, and eventually he asked Odin to adopt the son of a fallen king he would have killed, and that would pay his debt. Meanwhile, he went to present Loki, explaining how to become a god by tricking Odin. Loki went to Laufey, giving him information about where Odin would be positioned in the following battle and taunting him. Odin confronted Laufey and left him dead. Loki rushed into the battlefield, faking grief and anger, only to make Odin recognize his strength and adopt him. Out of a combination of honor, pity, and obligation, Odin adopted the boy, raising him alongside his own biological son Thor, while future Loki came to punish Laufey for his past atrocity. Throughout their childhood and adolescence, Loki became resentful of how differently he and Thor were treated by the general Asgardian citizen. Possessing a natural affinity for commanding great magical forces, he schemed to use his power to destroy Thor and become the most powerful in all of Asgard. Growing to adulthood, his devious proclivities manifested in earnest, and Loki dubbed himself the God of Mischief. Over the centuries, Loki took every chance to take over Asgard and kill Thor. So Loki has two first appearances. One is in the Golden Age of comics, and he appeared in Venus number 6, August 1949. And then in the Silver Age, he appeared in Journey into Mystery number 85, October 1902. So his kit, his first ability is Eldritch Blast, which will attack a primary target for piercing damage with a % to evade. Or, I'm sorry, with a % to gain evade. And I apologize, I don't have the direct numbers with me at the moment when these are maxed out. His mind control ability, he applies defense down to the primary turn. And then he will mind control up to 2 enemies to attack the primary target. The controlled enemies gain percentage damage for that attack. His ultimate is Mirror Image, where he will gain stealth. He will summon 2 to 3 mirror images. The mirror images gain, I want to say 300% total damage, and the mirror images will always gain evade. And then Loki's passive, which was recently reworked, on spawn, he will gain a 15% speed bar, and Mystic controller allies will gain a 10% speed bar. And he will apply negative 10% resistance to all enemies at the first level, and that will obviously increase up to to level 5 alt. Strategies for him, guys. What do you think? Where do you think Loki's going to work best? Chewie, let's come to you first since you have him unlocked.
Yeah, so look, Mystic Controller all day. I think he's going to be great to get in early to try and get a bit of a pre-game happening, maybe some defenser, maybe some deflector from Scarlet Witch. I love the fact that he can pull some of the, I guess, opposing teams in on the defense down on a target. So I think he could actually replace Hand Sentry in a lot of cases. So a lot of teams that use Hand Sentry right now, because you can stealth your entire team and then have those 2 clones just sit out front and take damage literally 4 times, unless it's an AoE, because obviously they have to dodge the 2 evades before you can hit them and remove them. I think that it's almost a bit tanky in that sense. So Mystic Controller is where I see him. I definitely want to pair him up with a Mordo and a Scarlet Witch as soon as possible. They're the 3 characters I see as essential as a team. And then after that, we'll see. I mean, Vision obviously plugs into that quite nicely. But for me, that's where I have him right now.
I'm sorry, can I just interject? I'm not making this up. I'm doing a blitz in the background. I just ran Loki on a team with Mordo and Scarlet Witch, and he replaced Hand Sentry on that team.
Boom! Mic drop. What do you think? What do you think about adding Ronan to that mix? Because Ronan is that Mystic.
Ronan from 6 months from now.
Let's start with current Ronan. He's a Mystic controller.
Never.
Just no.
Why not? He ability blocks. He's going to get that speed boost. I mean, Ronan.
He's just so slow. If he was faster, maybe, but the likelihood of getting that off is just so unlikely. That no, I don't see him have a place there right now. I mean, in principle, sure, but he's far too slow to make that effective.
Okay, I can see that, but. So you think, depending upon the rework, what if he gets a Defenders level rework?
I hope he does to make my Kree team worthwhile. That'd be fantastic. I'll be back on board in a heartbeat.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think that most of the synergies they're going to give him, I think you're going to see something very similar to him where it's going to be about he'll work well with the Kree. Like it may not expand across more to Mystics. I don't know. I mean, he's more of a named legendary type character rather than, Kree Oracle.
Okay, so Mystic controllers, primarily Scarlet Witch and Mordo currently. where do you see him having the most use? Is he a raid character? Is he an arena? Is he blitz only? I mean, where's he going to get the best utility?
Yeah, I think he's got usability across the park, to be honest. I think you're going to get value out of him in raid for sure, in certain teams, especially for sustain, just because you can buy a team some time by hiding some people and not others. I think that he definitely has very specific counters for arena offense. I don't know how well his AI plays on defense, so I'm not going to make a call there. But I definitely think he makes some great counter opportunities on arena offense. And then Blitz, same deal. I think with the right synergy of 5 characters, I think you could do some pretty cool things with him, even at 8.4. You know, some of those abilities hit hard. The defense down alone, you can half ruin a tank before he gets to actually get defense up or anything like that. So
yeah,
I think all game modes, Loki's going to be a mid-range or above character.
All right.
I have a fun one actually that I've yet to test out, but this is a recommended comp. I've used it very briefly, but I haven't tried it for like extended raid. I have a blitz team called the What Are You Blind team, and the whole concept is you can't get hit, and so you have Mordo, you have Scarlet Witch. Rather than replace Hand Sentry, you keep Hand Sentry as well.
Okay.
And then someone had asked me this on stream. I looked it up. Loki's minions can have that high chance to generate an evade for themselves with their basic.
Yeah.
And he can summon 3 of them as well, which is he can waste 6 turns. So the idea is Mordo opens up and blinds potentially 3 people. Scarlet Witch can spread that blind to a 4th person and then extend it, make them all 2-turn blinds. While they're all blind, Loki, just does damage to someone, which, by the way, if they're blinded, they do still hit their own teammate. So they can't hit you, but they will hit their own teammate. Then Hand Sentry throws up all the evades the very next turn. So now you have a bunch of blind people hitting into people with evades, which does not blow the evades because they're blind. They get to keep their evades. And then any evades that were blown the very next turn, Loki gives everyone stealth and evade again. And then, 1 turn later, Hand Sentry is ready to do it again. Anytime you kill someone, there's a good chance ability energy is going to Mordo. He's ready to blind more people, which anytime Scarlet Witch takes a turn, she can spread. It is the most obnoxious team ever, but it's a ton of fun.
So I've been thinking about a team similar to that for a while, but the difference that I had between those two was that I didn't have Hand Sentry. I was using Star-Lord instead.
Yeah, so he blinds as well.
And he's pretty quick as well. And then the ability energy feed, put Mordo next to him. That way you're going to probably get his blind up even faster. So yeah, but no, Hand Sentry is a good idea too.
Oh yeah, and I left out. Then you have Scarlet Witch. If anyone actually does take a significant hit, you just rebalance all the health, which makes it negligible, and give everyone deflect. So if they are somehow not blind and somehow have blown one of the 2 evades you can throw on there, then they hit into a deflect. So it's just a very troll team.
Hebrew, did you have any final thoughts on Loki? I think we might have glossed over you a little bit.
Did I? My bad.
I personally, I love his new rework. I think that they did a really good job with it. He was potentially going to be, he would have been overpowered in his previous position, but I wanted him like that so I can take down Fury Team super easy. Can you guys hear me okay, by the way?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I think that what they did with his rework on his ultimate, I really like it. It is more of a Hand Sentry vibe. You can waste a lot of turns, just like what Khasino and Chewie were saying, and he has a lot of utility to him because. So I think that where he is right now is an incredibly good spot, and yeah, and also you just can't discount that his special, that mind control did. I remember whenever they made that live on the raid nodes, that did so much more than I thought. I realized I was like, holy cow, this is an incredibly strong ability.
Oh,
so go ahead.
Sorry to kind of just food for thought on that note. The level 70 cap is coming very, very soon. The raise to 70. And I believe that ability goes up to guaranteed always calling 2 enemies to jump in.
Oh boy.
It does.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fantastic. And so all around, he is a fantastic, I've said fantastic 50 times now, but that's how good he is. He's fantastic. So I can't wait till I get him. I'm upset that Chewie got him. I'm gonna hack his account one day, so no worries there. But yeah, overall, incredibly good character.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for that, Dorian. Obviously, looking in depth at characters like that every week is something I know some of our fans definitely enjoy. But let's move on to our brand new segment. And again, we apologize it's taken so long to get to this part. But we're now introducing a patron-sponsored segment. So we do have a Patreon. If you want to have a segment of this show every week that you have the option to potentially nominate what we talk about, we have a rotating pool of patrons once you get to a certain level. And then you have the potential chance to discuss a topic just like Avenue Assassin has done. So, gentlemen, I think this is actually quite good. We've got Khasino here because he has had some brief access to the test account. So the question is this. Given that we have so many minion teams that we have to work on right now for different game modes, whether it be events or campaigns, or whether it be for legendary characters, what he's asking is, when it comes to blitz teams of minions only within those factions, are there any teams that we know will do incredibly well just by themselves? So AIM, Hydra, Shield, all of these teams. Do we think any of them can reliably win, as Khasino calls them in the, what are they called? Sure to win blitz teams?
Exactly.
So do we think that there are any of those teams of minions only that can hang at 8.4? So Khasino, let's start with you, because you probably had more high-end access to a lot of those teams than us, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just kind of something I talk about whenever I do roster reviews and stuff. For sure, a maxed out Shield minion team, even without Fury, can hang. Yeah. Their synergies off the charts ridiculous. A maxed out hand team will do pretty well. They're not quite as reliable just because they're squishy, but they will do very, very well. And then the only other...
which combination for hands? Sorry, mate. Because obviously there's 6 different characters you could put in there.
No, you said minion only.
Oh, just the minions only? Okay, so just the minions, yeah.
Otherwise, there would be 7 because Nobu and Electro.
Yeah.
And for the record, I leave out Assassin and Blade Master. But
okay.
Yeah. Those are the 2 that would I would take into tier 8, 8.3 of Blitz and not worry about it too much. The one, the only other one that might survive, obviously any of these teams with crazy RNG or whatever, but the only other team that might do okay is the Mercenary team. They're only a team of 4. So you'd have to stick a random mercenary on there, but both Merc Riot Guard and Merc Lieutenant are very, very good, and Merc Sniper is okay. They really need Dispel, so it might literally come down to just like a offense and defense. Can you brute force the enemy team down? But a good amount of the time, the answer will end up being yes if they're not too much utility or anything too crazy. So they'll do okay. But there's 2 that I trust. That's Shield and Hand.
And you and I obviously both level Creed to at least a barely passable level to unlock Fury. Yeah. Do you have you played with them much in the high 8s?
I try to avoid it.
Yeah, I did a little bit of testing after I unlocked, and yeah, they lose more often than they not, for sure.
In the current state of the game, Kree Royal Guard and Kree Oracle are just a waste of a spot liability to your team. And then no Dispel, no speed. Nope.
Very good. And Hebrew, what do you think?
I pretty much would go with the exact same thing there. Obviously, the Shield team, even without Fury, very, very strong. Shield security is incredibly good. And outside the hand team, I run a hand team with, I have a pretty high hand team with Nobu and Electra, and I love them. But yeah, I don't think that they would perform that well if you took them away. So yeah, I don't think that they could really hang, but it could happen for sure. It wouldn't be worth trying for me. But yeah, with Mercenary, I mean, Kree definitely not. AIM, laughable. So yeah, Mercenary would have a decent shot because yeah, Merc Lieutenant and Riot Guard, very good characters, but just as Khasino said, you'd be lacking, especially at that tier when you need a Dispeller, you'd be lacking on that dispelling end. So you'd have to really try to pinpoint a particular team that was just basically all damage characters and no one was able to taunt in order to be really effective, I think. But yeah, that would be my input.
Cool. And finishing off with Dorian, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I think the both Khasino and Hebrew really kind of said everything that needed to be said. I wouldn't take anybody but Shield in there. You know, the hand maybe if it's just minions, maybe. But yeah, and like you said, with the mercs, you got to add one to them. So I just can't see anybody else surviving in there. Hopefully the Kree get a decent buff. I'd like to see AIM be able to do it. And obviously Hydra's got some potential because I think Sniper does some really good damage. But obviously I haven't seen it maxed out. So I think those guys really kind of said everything on that said.
Yeah, AIM are so close to being usable. They just need one tweak, and that's not having to debuff themselves before flipping. I think if you just had more of the benefits that they're a team that you just do not want to debuff or bleed or any of that sort of thing, that makes them a threat in a very different, very specific way. I think if they took away the heavy debuffs before you get to flip, that could be a game changer. But in their current format, I'd have to pretty much agree with everything you guys said. That Shield, no question. I've run them without Fury. They're great. Hand, I haven't had as much experience, but they definitely look good on paper. Merc, absolutely. They've got 3 great characters there.
You want to hear one of my favorite spaghetti interactions on that AIM team?
What?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you blind Scientist Supreme and then she uses that heal, she will miss all of the debuffs on your team, but she will land them all on her team.
Oh my god,
that's brutal.
So what? She'll actually heal the other team and give them all the ups.
The other team doesn't get healed, so the other team just stands there, and her team gets a small heal and a barrage of debuffs while your team watches.
Yeah,
that just seems broken AF. Yeah,
that's the AIM team in a nutshell.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
It's up there for sure.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah. Absolutely. So look, thank you very much, Avenue Assassin, for submitting that as our topic this week. Obviously, for our patrons, we're going to be rotating that around in weeks to come. So we're going to move quite quickly through the next couple of sections. So for these question boys, what I'm going to do is just throw to each one of you one question each, just so we can move through our grab bag at a nice little pace. So again, if you want us to answer your weekly questions, just super quickly, jump into the Discord and we will see you in the grab bag section, which I now need to find. Okay.
Control K, grab bag.
No problems at all. Okay. So let's start off with Dorian. So we have Ardrick writing in and says he's a new player, less than 2 weeks into the game. Wondering if you could offer him some advice on choosing a defense team for Arena.
2 weeks into the game. Ooh, well, I mean, obviously you're going to go Electro, you're going to go Bones, you want to start on Spidey really quick.
Defense team?
Well, I mean, those are going to be 2 weeks in. Those are really going to be your best characters.
Yeah, he's talking about easy characters to farm to make passive defense team.
So who else do you get early that's going to be nice and easy to get?
Punisher.
Punisher, obviously,
well. And Daredevil, I think.
Yeah, and Daredevil. So I would keep working Spidey because he works in so many different facets of the game. Keep working Crossbones because he's gonna hold you for a long time, offense and defense, and Spidey will do the same. Beyond that, defensive teams to work on early. Do everything you can to get to Hero 5-9 so you can start working that cap. If you got the cap $10 offer, you should probably buy it. That's one of the best offers in the game.
Yep. So that is probably one that a lot of people have different opinions on. So Khasino and Hebrew, you guys want to weigh in there?
Khasino, you can go ahead and take it.
Oh boy. I get asked some variation of this constantly, and you'd think I would have like a known answer.
You should have a stock by now, man.
I should, but 2 weeks in, let's look in the shops. That's really what I'm going to recommend. Yeah, if you get that cap offer, Captain America is great. Quake is an excellent option. I'm looking here from the Raid store. Hand Sentry you can actually get fairly quickly, and he makes an awesome teammate on defense. From the Arena store, Drax is really good for like beginner player defense, actually, because people do not have the tools to get around a Drax. And even if they do, they just try to avoid him because it's an unpleasant fight. So yeah, pretty much all of the ones that were originally mentioned, and probably those you get Crossbones. I don't like, it might be a little too early for this, but I always recommend Merc Lieutenant. So you get Merc Lieutenant as early as Villains 3/3. You can start farming Merc Lieutenant, which is not like, it's still a 12, like that's like a 6 energy. Like that's early.
Yeah.
Merc Lieutenant is incredible, and almost no new players know to farm Merc Lieutenant, and none of them have Black Widow like inside of their first month. Merc Lieutenant single-handedly will give you a giant leg up both on defense and on offense. So I would put all your stock in Merc Lieutenant, and you lose nothing by doing that. Like, he remains incredible on the tech team for raid as a backup, like secondary character. Like, he's awesome. He'll carry a blitz team by himself. So there's just no downsides to going all in on Merc Lieutenant. So he's my number 1 pick.
Very good. Okay. So moving on to the next question. So I'll take this one because I deliberately left out some information earlier in the show because I knew this would come up. So Jolio asked, do we have any idea as to what Venom's kit will look like? He knows that it's been found before, but that didn't represent what it's supposed to be. So in the data mine that Penub and those guys released this morning, there was some more information that hints at the fact that he will have some sort of buff flip mechanic. We don't know the specifics as yet. And it looks like he'll have also some sort of an ability to spread bleeds. So they're the only 2 things that have come up so far. Other than that, we know that he's going to unlock at 2 stars. There was a video that came out yesterday on Strikeforce's Twitter and Facebook accounts that quickly showed some of his animation and what looks like him maybe ulting, leaping up. And I mean, that video itself, guys, if you watched it, I think the real question we need to ask here is, why does Fox Next hate mercenaries? Because that video is just them kicking the crap out of mercenaries for about 5 straight minutes.
Because they're tired of them stealing all the gold.
Yeah, well, exactly. That could be it. Just robbing them of their payday. So look, the information is pretty limited at this stage, Jolio, unless perhaps there's a certain person here that may have some inside spoilers that wants to weigh in, maybe?
Pick an ability, only because this is your first episode. And I love what you guys are doing here with this collaborative podcast. I genuinely, like, if you guys were doing a podcast live at the same time I was streaming, I would not want to go up against this show because it's awesome.
Thanks, bud.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna keep that, and we're gonna blast that one out.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we want to hear most, boys? The ultimate or the passive?
I'm really thinking the passive. Because passive seems to be what really make a character in this game.
Hebrew?
Oh man. I want to say ultimate, but so yeah, Chewy, you're gonna be
the deciding vote.
I kind of want to hear the ultimate, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's
hear the ultimate.
All right, bear with me. I gotta find it in these notes. So, I will let you know when I find it. It's probably gonna take me like a minute or 2. I really do have so many notes. So
it's okay. We'll take a new question. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, yeah, for me, there's too much of a risk of potentially getting a passive that is the most boring thing ever.
Just 5% health or piercing or something. Yeah.
Exactly. So that would be incredibly underwhelming. But with ultimates, it's at least guaranteed to be pretty good.
Exactly.
Really?
So
have you seen Iron Fist? Did you see Iron Fist until today?
Winter Soldier wins.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So let's just take a quick question while Khasino's looking for that. So Squirrel Girl says that he or she, I'm going to say girl is girl, but you never know with online, right? Catfish. Yeah. But excited to get into the new format. So what is our opinion on what is the minimum STP your A team should get to before you start any minion farms for the legendary events? I would say less STP, and I would say tier 10 as a minimum instead. So get 5 characters to preferably 5 stars at tier 10 each. That'd be my advice. Hebrew?
Yeah, I would kind of echo that. I mean, it kind of depends on what your main characters that you run are. So yeah, I mean, it's really subjective, but I would say, yeah, at least you'd want them at a minimum of tier 10, whoever you run the most. And just know that, like, they've already announced that they are making sure that, in fact, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they even said that they will no longer release any more legendary events that require minions being used in their current form. Minion teams being used in their current form.
Only if they're not good.
Yeah,
they
only
didn't
if they're not
necessarily-
good.
yeah.
Okay. Because, well, I think that they mentioned...
so every Minion team.
Yeah, about to say, I think that's everyone. But, yeah, so I think that, going forward, you don't have to worry as much as we did with the Kree team, because hopefully that will be addressed. And, but yeah, I think as a general rule, you want to get them up to at least tier 10. That way you can make an impact in these raids to some degree. But it definitely depends a bit on what characters you're upgrading.
All right, so I did find it, but I was like reading, so I wasn't fully listening. Did you guys wrap up that question?
We're just doing a different question in between, mate. Yeah. So
right.
Venom's ultimate.
All right. Sorry, maybe you can edit it together. So Venom's ultimate deals damage to a primary and adjacent targets, and it heal blocks all of them in that cluster, but it spreads any negative effects from the primary to the adjacent.
I like that. Okay.
And it when upgraded, I believe it can spread 2 negative effects per 2 adjacent.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm actually...
Very Scarlet Witchy.
Yeah, Very Scarlet Witchy takes the passive to the ultimate pretty much. But yeah, no, I think that applying the heal block and everything like that, it's pretty good. What were you about to say?
It's you'd have to see the rest of the kit, but it's a nice it synergizes with the rest of his kit very well.
Okay, yeah, so a nice
Very
touch.
nice.
It's a very anti-tank mechanic, right? Because you're going to obviously keep stripping him down, and then any buff that you can only get on a single target, you can then start spreading to the people next to him. The question is, does it have anything in there that it doesn't work on stun, Khasino? That was one of the things they specifically said about Witch, right?
So I'm hearing it relayed to me. I don't have like the specific documentation of it, so I can't see the exact wording, but like stun, I know stun can be extended, but I know it can't be spread.
Yeah, it can't
Are
be
you?
spread.
Oh my god! Sorry, she literally opened the door. It's like every time. Anyway, it's just stop. We're recording a podcast. Zip it.
Anyway, you're gonna have some shit to deal with after this, my friend.
Yeah, I am so sorry.
No, I don't think we have enough people on this podcast. Just ask her what her opinion on Venom's ultimate is.
Yeah. What do you
sure
think?
she's got an answer.
Right.
She said it's great.
That's great. There we go.
Yeah. There you go. Hot takes, everyone.
Yeah,
Khasino's girlfriend.
Meta changing, game breaking, right there.
Very good. Now, Dorian, we haven't touched you yet, mate. Just skipping back to that last question. So, yeah, what do you think about STP for an A team before you start diverting your farm?
I honestly think that you should be doing the shield minions.
Right from the
pretty
get-go?
early on, yeah. Because you're gonna get Iron Man from them, and they're after their rework, even without Fury, they're gonna hold really well. So I think that unless you're really invested in this A team, which I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of that concept anymore. I think we were in that mode for way too long. But if you're talking to your arena team, I would say if you're able to hold, relatively high, then I would switch over, and unless you start falling down. Depends on what mode for this team that you're wanting to build is. But yeah, I would be working on Shield almost immediately to get Iron Man, because he's going to be absolutely fantastic. So
yeah, I agree with that, because not only will it definitely come in handy later on with Nick Fury, and you're already going to have him set for that, but yeah, it'll get you Iron Man, who is a great character, and the Shield team by themselves, as we spoke on earlier, they're very good. They're not going to be as good as a lot of named characters groups, but they have incredible synergy, and they will be very good still. So yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So Magic Juan's question, we won't go through it. He was asking about mutant gear and basically whether to wait or gear them now. So we spoke about that a little bit earlier, so we won't go through it again. So that means the last question comes in from Flip Van, and we'll take this one to Khasino. What quality of life improvements are we expecting, or should be the highest priority for the devs to add in that next update?
I already know. And so this one, specifically the wording on this when it was relayed to me was that they are pretty sure it is coming with this next update, But if it's not coming with this next update, it is 1,000%, according to them, still subject to change and still rumor. Highly likely, if it's not in this very next one, which they believe it is, that it's in the one right after this. And that is what I think might be just about everyone's number one quality of life change that they want.
Blitz
let me hear it, boys.
Blitz team
Blitz
saving.
team folders.
Oh yeah.
Preset blitz teams.
There we
Come
go.
on.
Yeah.
About goddamn time.
Hey.
Sorry. About gosh darn time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Watch your language. It's about fucking time. All right.
Oh,
Sorry, Dorian.
That's all right. We don't need that. You don't need to edit either one out. There's no need to edit either one out.
I get one. All right.
Yeah,
Very good.
All right. That's it. That's my last one for me. Promise.
All right. Very good. So sorry, guys, for burning through those questions so fast. We did our best to try and keep the time down today. So to wrap this bad boy up one at a time, what are you guys going to be farming for the next week? So let's start with Dorian.
Well, I'm farming gear. I want to get all my arena team all to gear 10 at a minimum with that Star-Lord team. So if I can get them to gear 10, I'm probably going to shift focus over to my getting my defenders beefed up, because they're just a great raid team, and I think that's where, because that's my favorite game mode, that's where I want to put them.
Very cool. And what about you, Hebrew?
For me, I'm 40 shards away from 7-starring my Yondu. So I'm not stopping till I get that done. That's for sure. And let's see. Definitely going to be farming up some more of the defenders. And I am still working on, as far as gear-wise farming, gearing up those mutants, especially for the incoming content. So we shall see. So that's about it.
Awesome. Khasino, what are you working on over the next 7 days?
Excuse me. I probably will farm the defenders, but just, I'm a content creator. People are going to want to see them in action, and I want the hands-on experience, among other things. So I don't know if I recommend everyone do that, but it seems like a safe bet. But that's what I'll be doing.
All right, so you heard it straight from Khasino. Farm defenders only.
And if you don't like him, it's his fault.
Yep.
No, I'm going to name the podcast that when we upload it. That's just Hebrew said. All right, so I'm pretty much in hoarding mode right now, to be honest. I want to see what this update is very shortly. So I'm going to passively farm the character shards for the last couple of shield guys I don't have at 7 stars. I might have a look at my defenders team to see whether they're worthwhile. But the main thing at the moment is getting Deadpool and Storm out of their blue gear. So just getting them into only needing purples, so that way I don't have to worry if they do rework any of the green or blue pieces below. And that gets us to near the end of the show. So ladies and gentlemen, before we do our goodbyes, we should absolutely thank Khasino. Mate, thank you so much for stopping by. Please take a minute or two to shamelessly plug all the different places that people can find you.
I'm all over the place, but mainly twitch.tv/Khasino every single day, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Random people from this podcast randomly pop in. and I encourage it. I'm not trying to say like they ambush me. I tell them. So if you're a fan of the show, you never know when those guys will show up and be there too. And then youtube.com/Khasino, and it's KHASINO. But yeah.
Also,
if you
sorry to amend that. I forgot to do this again, and last time Khasino was on with me, I mentioned this, but if you have Amazon Prime and you don't get on Twitch very often, you have a free Twitch subscription every month. And so go on, if you're not using it for anything else or like his content, make sure you go on and subscribe to his channel, because I forgot to do that already this month.
I appreciate that. Yeah, please tell Jeff Bezos to give me money.
Yeah, there we go.
So yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend. Khasino did a week recently where he did a YouTube video every day. The one that I would recommend going straight to right now, if you're in the mood to have a bit of a laugh, is his Ultimus Orb video. That was definitely great. Worth a laugh. Yeah. Very good. So mate, thank you so much again for stopping by. We always appreciate it. Your level of knowledge about the character interactions especially adds something that none of us have skills in. So mate, really appreciate it.
No problem. I always feel like when I come on, like I just feel like there's got to be like people like, oh, freaking Khasino's here, like great. So, but
I don't think anyone's like that. In
No,
fact,
no,
our
not at all.
viewership always spikes whenever you're on here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
well, anything I can do.
Yeah, we appreciate
Absolutely,
it.
mate. And vice versa. All right, so that brings us to the end of our currently unnamed podcast. So we're just going to take a moment here that what we want to do over the next week is actually open up to you guys, the listeners, the Patreons, the standard listeners, the people that hang shit on us on Reddit. We don't really care who you are, but we do want to hear what you would like to hear this podcast be named. So Dorian is going to be developing a document very shortly that is going to be putting on Discord. It's going to be on Reddit. Did we say we're going to do Twitter as well, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Sure, why not? Yeah. So keep an eye out for all those formats. If you want to weigh in and hear what we're going to call the show next week, and maybe we can choose yours as an option if we think it's fantastic, we would love to hear from you. So first of all, Hebrew, thanks for joining us this week. Any last thoughts?
No, just going to echo on we're going to work that exactly. In the survey, we will have a lot of different options that we've already made, as well as a free form kind of fill in. If you have a particularly good idea that you think we should hear about what we should call ourselves, then for sure write that down as well. And yeah.
Absolutely. And look, I've been Chewburger84. It's been my pleasure to host this week. Obviously, one of the other guys will take over next week. We're going to rotate this around on a 3-week cycle. But I think the best way to finish this show is to have Dorian remind you all of where you can find us, and then he will say goodbye. So from me, catch you next time.
If you want to get a hold of us, you can reach us through email at sfdcpodcast@gmail.com. That will change in the future, but right now that's going to be one of the best ways. Hebrew, how can they get a hold through your email?
You guys can go ahead and contact us at msfpowercore@gmail.com. If you have any questions that you don't want to air anywhere else, that's fine. Just go ahead and let us know from there.
And if you want to join us on Discord, it is at discord.me/SFDC podcast. We are going to be grouping our Discords together. So we've decided that the SFDC Discord is going to be the one that we're going to make our main, and it will be renamed once we have our new name. You can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/SFDC podcast, where we are talking about potentially reworking some of the benefit levels, but they start at $2 and go all the way up to $20, with benefits ranging from access to the hosts on a private Discord channel all the way to getting on the show for roster reviews, things of that nature. Yeah, I'll have I'm so sorry, guys. It's
late.
It's really late.
We said we weren't going to have another long one. And we did.
I'm at hour 20, so you have to forgive me. And I got to get up in 2 hours. Yeah, sfdcpodcast@gmail.com, discord.me/SFDC podcast, patreon.com/SFDC podcast are going to be the most consistent ways of getting a hold of us right now until we have our new name, and then we'll give you that new information. I do want to thank everybody that hung out and stayed with us for probably about 3.5 hours of show at this point. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be talking to you guys. Khasino, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. And for Hebrew and Chewburger, I just want to say, keep fighting, true believers.
See ya.